Okay. Hey guys, I'm here with Abby, and we are showing Abby's record-breaking, goal score record-breaking game just after this. So I hope that you tune in for that. So Abby and I just have a little bit of time together. We love spending time together, Abby and I.
Always.
Love it, love it. And we're just going to be talking a little bit about that game, what breaking that record meant. Obviously, you broke Mia Hamm's record recently. Hate to say it. Christine Sinclair beat your record. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But what's your initial feelings, Abby, when you see U.S. Soccer showing games like this, some of the all-time classics?
Yeah, good question. Well, first of all, it just gives me a lot more street cred in my home. My children, even though they're like, whatever, like it at least makes them understand that, yes, I too was on the women's national team at some point. So when I go up to their rooms and I see pictures of you, Heyo, and Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe, I just, it's just nice to know that it's in their recent memory that I too was a national team player.
Is there a little bit of sensitivity there that I'm sensing?
Well, not sensitivity, but like sometimes I'm just like, do they even know that I played, like, period? Let alone like actually played well and did well for my country for so many years. But it's actually, this is one of the silver linings I feel during this crazy time that we're all in is, even though there's no current sports on television for people to consume, I think we have so much content, and our women's national team and U.S. Soccer has all the content to most of our games, I think probably minus any of the World Cup games, which and the Olympic games, which is so fun. It's so fun to look back, see old teammates. The other night when ESPN was playing some of the old games, I was just like astonished at how amazing Shannon Box was on the field. Like,
she was so good.
I mean, best player.
Dave and I were watching it too, and we're like, Boxy's a beast, and he's like, Boxy's always been one of my favorites, and I'm like, this is amazing.
I know.
So and when you said old teammates, I assume that you're talking former teammates, not like your old teammates, right?
Correct. Former teammates. I mean, look, we're all freaking old now, so whatever, it's fine. But yeah, it's been fun, and just like texting, getting on group chats with some of the players that we played with. You have been on many of those. And, Heather, I just think it's so cool that we're doing this. Hype texted me yesterday and was like, hey, I think this would be a good idea. Not to live in like the glory days, but, we did really cool things, and we did it at a high level. And, I was so proud to play for our team, and proud that you were a teammate for so many years, and you assisted on a lot of my goals, although not in the specific game we're going to be talking about today, which is a little bit annoying. Like, what was wrong with you? Come on.
Well, what was wrong with you? You probably wasted a couple of my dime piece services.
Dimes, like on a platter, you would put
on a platter. No, I totally agree. I think that, like, as a player, because we were so in the zone for so long, which you have to be as an athlete, I think that you're in this like weird vortex tunnel thing where, you have to kind of put family stuff aside. You have to put a lot of things in your life aside, and you're so ultra focused, which is wonderful, but it's also detrimental, and it doesn't allow you to see the big perspective of like what you're able to do for people and how you're influencing people. So I think that, like, now that I've stepped out of it, and I wonder if you feel the same way, that you do feel more of a sense of pride at, watching these games. It's like, yeah, we were good and we were good for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, the further that I get out of the grind of the day-to-day is I'm able to understand, like, the magnitude and how special it is that, like, you are a dear friend of mine, and I can call up Mia Hamm, and chat with her, bounce ideas off her. I mean, that's really, really cool. And I never want to take that for granted. So I really appreciate, this time that we have to kind of reflect on some of these old classics. And
Totally.
what have been some of your favorite things that they've showed? I know that U.S. Soccer has shown some games. I know that some other channels have shown World Cup finals and things like that. What have you loved seeing?
Well, I mean, just to talk to what you were saying just now, I think that as I've gotten further away from my retirement, and you'll probably feel this way too, like you said, the focus is so intense when you're in it, you almost don't have even enough capacity to think about how big and how amazing this experience is. You almost have to like compartmentalize the grandioseness and the magnitude of what you're actually doing in order to be able to do it on a lot of levels. So for me, as I've gone and retired and I now have a family, it's so fun to experience it. I mean, I was just watching some of the goals back this morning with my wife, Glennon, and she just is like, she's just amazed. Not only that I was able to like physically be able to do that, but just the way in which I handle myself and the way that I talk in interviews. She's just like, gosh, you really were amazing, you know? And I think that that's really important, especially for women, to not downplay how amazing it is, the chance that we had to represent our country. You know, some of the things that I've been watching, which is so cool, is just like the times that I spent with you, the times that I spent with some of my former teammates, and how that completely dictated the people we are now. And those experiences really do shape us in so many ways. And watching what happens on the field is just like a microcosm of kind of the things that we were all focused on.
Mm-hmm.
We're all trying to achieve, and to watch the current team go through what they're going through right now with the lawsuit and, you know, dealing with the even more fame that they're getting and the attention that they're getting, rightfully so. It's just been really fascinating, truly, and beautiful to watch kind of progress and evolve. And then for me, having to kind of relearn entering into the normal human race world. You know, that it's a difficult journey. And
do you not get your breakfast made for you anymore?
I'm not getting my breakfast made for me anymore. I'm actually doing the intermittent fasting thing because I like food too much. That's what I've realized. So I don't even eat breakfast no longer, which is
oh wow,
that's
way different than when we were playing.
Yes, well, you know how much I love food, and you know
I'm the breakfast monster. Pino would always call me the breakfast monster.
Yeah, yes, and I was also the lunch monster and the dinner monster. Like the problem with me, I was just like a food monster.
Right.
So
yeah, but fuel the beast. You needed the calories, dude.
Totally.
And speaking of you being an absolute beast, let's talk about this game. Okay. So I'm trying to think back. I mean, you were a couple goals off from breaking the record going into this game. So like, I don't know how much we talked about it being a possibility. I know that your family was there. But you needed a hat trick in order to tie the record.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of goals.
I mean, I did not.
Instead, you score 4 goals in the first half, just absolutely bananas. And I just remember us going crazy for you. So do you remember anything going into that game? Were you like, enough's enough, I'm doing it this game, let's get this behind me? Because I know you didn't like the build-up, you didn't like the attention. It's just like, you know, it's extra pressure, which you were always fine with. But I just think that you were just like, let's just get this off me and back to the team, which you were always so great about. So do you think that part of it was like, you're just like, I'm just going to get this over with in this game?
Yeah, I think all of us were. I mean, I know you don't remember this, but there was a solid month or two of chasing Mia, you know, like hashtag chasing Mia. And like all the goals in U.S. Soccer, and it was like the thing, it was the swirling thing. And I hated that individual attention because, first of all, I knew I wasn't going to retire for many years, so I knew it was going to happen eventually. And I didn't want to have any kind of that real focus on me. So this was the game, you know, before the game actually happened, one of my friends actually found this private plane that flew my family from Rochester and flew some of my friends in from Rochester. And he called me beforehand and he's like, Abby, I need you to score 3 today. And of course he knew how many I needed to break the record, but I was like, I mean, maybe 1. Like, I'm pretty solid for trying to get a goal a game. Like, that's a dream. But like, I'm not out to score a hat trick. Like that's.
Yeah. And to be fair, we were playing South Korea, who's a very good team, but also a team that we know that we can kind of take advantage of in terms of, well, 1, just a score line, but 2, I think just like your qualities in the box, obviously with your aerial presence, not South Korea's forte. They're generally like a very skilled possession team, like a lot of Asian nations are. So I think that it was building up to be one that you could score a lot of goals, but I don't think anybody projected you having 4 in the first half.
Totally. And I don't know if you remember this, but very early in the game, in the first like 4 minutes, I get on a breakaway and I miss. Keeper comes out, saves it. And I just felt this moment of like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to totally fail. Like my family's here, the stadium is completely sold out. Like New York showed up and New Jersey showed up, your hometown, your home state. And I just thought this isn't going to happen, you know, but then Cheney, you know, Lauren Cheney Holiday, she stepped up and she assisted my first 2 goals. And I watched them back this morning and they're ridiculous assists. Like Alex gets this on the first goal, Alex lays the ball off to Cheney and she just like kind of chips it into me. And I usually, you know, back in the day, I wasn't like very good at patting myself on the back, but probably had the best 2 touches of my career on the first goal, like legit, like touch shot. And then Cheney, she does, you know, goes on this run for the second goal. I'm able to find myself in a position to kind of do this diving flick header. It looks way cooler and way harder than it was, trust me. And then the corner kick happened where Megan, you know, just laid the ball up there for me to go attack. And, you know, when you see the replay, I'm like pretty in shock that I've just done it in the first half, you know, like the goal goes in and I don't really know what to do. And so I just like run towards Megan, and you know how Megan celebrates, right? Megan jumps so hard into my chest that my neck cranes back. And I'm like, I think that I'm hurt. Like she did that to me against when we played Brazil, when she bombed, you know, the long header.
That goal, that decent goal.
Yeah, not bad. But like, I need to have a little bit more of a cushion here, Megan. Yeah. When you jump, like be like, get ready, like give me a heads up that we're about to like crash into each other. And the bench.
Yeah, like whiplash is a real thing.
Yes. And I actually did have it. Like I had a problem with my neck for a few days. And it's fine, you know? And yeah, like, I don't know. It just was a super surreal experience. My family was there. The fans were crazy. You guys all were just trying so hard to get me the ball. Everybody.
Yeah. We wanted it so bad for you. But in soccer, it's like one of those things that it's like you just have to let things happen organically. Like you said, you were probably tight and almost trying too hard on that first opportunity. But it's like we just need to rely on your habits that we've done over and over and over. And how many crosses myself or like Pino hitting that corner to you. I mean, you see it and it looks amazing, but it's what we did every single day at training. And it's like, it's so cool, I think, to like kind of know the backstory of what people kind of work on at training and then to see it come to fruition, you know, in these big moments. Like even some of Kristen Press's most recent goals, I'm like, oh, I saw her train that after practice, like every day. So like good on her.
Back to goal,
turn, chip, over and over and over. Like these aren't accidents. And I think that, we have a lot of our idols that, you know, I still call Mia and Foudy my idols, to thank for that, just in terms of like bringing your best self every single day. And that's your role for the team. That's how you show love for the team, is you're going to be your best and bring your best skills. And I'm not you, you're not me. I'm not Pino, I'm not Tobin. God knows I'm not Tobin. But I'm going to bring, my best self. And I think that you really embraced that for so long. Like you were like, listen, this isn't what I'm good at, but I'm really good at this. And I think that I'm really proud of you, and I'm proud of myself too. But going back to what we were talking about with the current team, I am proud that we took this torch and we carried it for so long, and then we passed it. And part of that means you are taking this torch from Mia, this goal scoring torch. And eventually you knew that probably somebody might break that record. And you probably hoped that it was somebody on the US team, I guess. But tell us a little bit about that, your feelings, your emotions, and be authentic with us here, Abby. Be authentic with us, because that's what you always, tell us to do. How did you feel as Sinclair was getting a little bit closer to the record, and how did you feel the day that she broke it?
Yeah, I think that as we were getting closer and closer to her breaking it, I had, of course, like real moments of sadness because of, knowing the amount of hours and minutes and seconds and blood and sweat and tears that go into every single one of those goals. Somebody getting closer to like breaking this record that you have, of course, there's a sadness because of the pride that I had carried with me because of that, because of this record. And truly, I do believe that the records are meant to be broken. I'm excited for Christine because I do also know how proud I was for being able to have the opportunity of breaking it. And also for her, I don't know if you've actually had a chance to really ever play with her, but Christine Sinclair has played on the Canadian women's national team forever. Canadian women's national team has gotten exponentially better cycle after cycle every 4 years because of her, right? And they've never been able to reach the final or win a championship on the world stage like our national team has. And so from that perspective, I'm happy for her that she has something like that she can kind of really truly hang her hat on as something to be exceptionally proud of for herself. And also she's an amazing person. She's a great ambassador of the game. So I'm glad for that. It's not going to a jerk, right? And of course, I wish that a U.S. player would break it, but this gives Alex Morgan something to shoot for. This gives some of the younger players in the women's national team, Rose Lavelle, something to shoot for, because we are competitors by nature. And you talked a little bit about the time that you spend in the women's national team, the time that you spend going over and over these moments, right? Like most people, when they watch the game, they just see it for a 90-minute game. But when you really break it down into the moments of the game, those are the things that I remember practicing with you. I would love to know how many times after practice you stayed after sending me service into the box, teaching me about timing, teaching me about the cues that you have on the ball, the cues that other players have around you, and then us communicating after when we're getting a drink or we're stretching or we're cooling down after training. Like those are the moments that are priceless to me personally. And, I'm so grateful that I got to do it with people like you who were as committed to the relentless pursuit of excellence, because that's truly what being on the women's national team is about. And I'm proud that I've been able to call myself an Olympian, a champion of the world. And yeah, it's sad to see a record like that go, but I also feel deeply in my heart that growth is what I want more than my own personal grasp on a record, on an individual record. I want the game to keep growing, and in order for it to keep growing, people have to keep coming and breaking these records.
Hmm. And you alluded to it with Christine, but I think that she would probably trade that individual stat any day for one of our Olympic golds or World Cup win.
That's exactly what I kind of feel and say. And who's to say that she doesn't step up and win it for Team Canada come the Olympics next summer in Tokyo.
Yeah. Well, she'll certainly have a little bit more time to prepare now. I think that there's some talk about players getting older, players that were already old going into this last set of Olympic Games, and now they'll be a whole another year older. You retired, at 34, 35 or so. How much do you think that will factor in on player selection or performance?
That's a good question. I think it all factors in. It's not going to be easy, right? It's not an easy job to select any team. And it is going to be about who's healthy and who's fit and who's playing. I think that Vlatko is a really good players coach, and he has rallied them together, so it seems, from the outside. I think that it's going to be really interesting because Alex Morgan comes back, and she's now back in full fitness after having baby soon enough, right? And another year puts another year of mileage on your legs as an aging player. Is a Carly Lloyd going to step up and continue to play? Is Megan Rapinoe going to stay healthy and at the top of her game? These are all questions that only each individual player can answer themselves, right? This is not something that Vlatko can even answer. It depends on the drive. And if I know anything about a player like Carly or a player like Megan, their drive is consistent and it's constant. So I have confidence. I have confidence in every player playing and being at their peak performance come Tokyo next summer. And it's a much more difficult roster to make because it's down to 18, right? And you know what it's like. Even being a veteran on the team, I'm still counting players. Like, am I still going to make this roster? There's a lot of stress that goes into it, and a lot of planning and a lot of effort. So, and also, not to mention, we can say this because it's easier to say it from this position, but the expectations are high. We don't enter.
Win or bust, always.
Yeah, we don't enter a tournament. So it's like, unless we're going to win it.
Right.
So it's win or bust, right?
Yeah, always. Yeah, I think that time will tell. I'm sure it'll serve some players well that are maybe injured and now they have a chance again, and it will make some other jobs more difficult for people. But one thing that you did say is that the drive and the motivation is always strong with the U.S. team. So there's no doubt in my mind that they'll be sharp and ready. But how are you doing during this lockdown period? And are you glad that you're not a professional athlete during this time? Or do you wish that you sort of had that extra motivation to get going in the morning? Because I was just saying to Dave, I am so thankful that I'm not an athlete that has to be sharp right now, because there's some days that it's just very difficult. What do you feel?
Yeah. So, I think you know this about me, that fitness was never my favorite. That was usually the thing that either, if I was fit, I was one of the best. And if I wasn't fit, I was very average.
I don't want to say 0 or 100, but it was close.
Yeah. But I've been training for a marathon, and the marathon that I was training for in April was postponed and canceled, which was very sad. Because I've been, training, and I had 18-mile runs and a 20-mile run under my belt. So it was a sad day to know that was no longer going to happen. And you know this because we're both training for the New York City Marathon, and we're hoping that that's still going to go. So I actually we have a family rule that you got to spend at least an hour on your physical, an hour on your emotional, an hour on your mental, and then the kids an hour on the intellectual, in terms of school at least, or reading or whatnot. So I've been running 6 to 10 miles a day.
Nice.
And it's great for me because I'm just not worrying about the timing like I was when I was training for that Nashville Marathon. I'm just running to stay sane during this time. And we converted a garage into a little workout area. So that has actually really saved us too, is to get into a gym and be able to lift a little bit. And then, I travel a lot. And because of that, this has offered me the opportunity to be home and to connect, not just with my wife, but my kids, and to connect with them in a totally different way. Of course, this is kind of a very stressful and scary time, no doubt. But we're trying to be as optimistic as we possibly can and have the kids help us with cooking meals and try to be present, and most importantly, like, just be easy with each other. Like, early days, I was experiencing quite drastic switches between highs and lows and my mood swings. A few days, Glennon was like, hey, just why don't you go take a nap maybe? And I'm like, yes, okay, that's good. And so rather than just getting pissy and chippy with each other, we just give each other a little bit of grace and more sleep when need be. How are you dealing with it?
I'm doing fine. I think similar to you, I'm trying to find the silver lining. Obviously, I'm pregnant right now, so that's like a whole nother wave of an uncertain time of my life, coded with an uncertain time of the world. So that's been interesting. I had my first freak out a couple of days ago when New York City was starting to say that no support people could be in the hospital, which I totally understand from a health perspective. But I was like, I started to play this up in my mind that Dave wouldn't be able to be there for like the birth of our first child. And I'm like, when are you just going to drop me off at the red door? Like, it's the airport.
I mean, I don't want to laugh.
Get a sandwich or something, and I'm going to go have a baby. And he's like, I don't think that's going to happen. If it does, I'm sure that you'll crush it. But like you have a lot of time to go, so relax. So anyways, that was a bit of a freak out. That's been since overturned, so I don't think that I'll have to worry about that. But anyways, there is some stresses, but I think similar to you, we're finding the silver lining in all of this. And I think that the silver lining for us with the national team is that we get to look back and reflect on all these amazing games and these amazing times and these moments and these people that have been really near and dear to us. So I just wanted to thank you for coming on here, and I'm excited to watch the game. I'm excited to see a lot of golazos. Good thing I don't have to, sit through a whole 90 to see break the record.
45.
Yeah, exactly.
Although Cheney does score in the second half. It's a great goal.
Okay. Well, I love Cheney, so I'll probably watch the whole thing just for her. But an epic record, Abby. You should be so, so proud. And I'm so proud to be your teammate for so long. And I hope that you and your kids take some time to sit down and watch this game tonight, because they should know that their mom is a pretty badass chick. I don't know if I can say that on US Soccer's YouTube, but I did. So they should know it. They should appreciate it. And I love you, buddy.
I love you too. And, I'm grateful that you did this. I think that there's probably no other person on the planet that has more assists to my goals than you. We need hype to get that stat out.
Yeah, we need some stat kid.
All right, buddy. Take care. Tell Davey I said hey.
Okay.
And be easy with yourself with baby inside.
Yeah, I will do. All right, take care. Enjoy watching.
Okay. Love you, sister.
Yeah.
The NBC Sports Network welcomes you to the following presentation of U.S. Soccer.
Abby Wambach has been firing in goals for the USA since 2002. Her tally has reached 156. She's 2 goals away from equaling the world record held by the great Mia Hamm. Tonight could be the night. The Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey is filling with eager soccer fans as the US women's national team take on South Korea tonight in an international friendly. It could be an historic night for women's soccer if Abby Wambach scores a hat-trick tonight. Mia Hamm's world record of 158 goals will fall. Stranger things have happened. It should be a lot of fun tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Arlo White. Kate Markgraf, an Olympic gold medalist and a World Cup winner as well, as alongside me. And, of course, on the left flank, an unfamiliar position, Abby Wambach. Hi, Abby. Great that you've joined us this close to kick-off. I know you don't like talking about this record. I know you're a team player. You always thank your teammates for all of your 156 goals that you've scored. But what chance a bit of history for the viewers tonight and maybe grabbing a hat-trick and getting that record?
Well, you know, we have a great crowd on hand. I don't know exactly how many tickets sold, but I think it's going to be close to capacity. So more than anything, I just want to give them a good show. You know, we want to entertain the fans. We want to give them something to be proud of and something to cheer for.
So I spoke to Mia Hamm last night, and she is so excited for you to break this record. Tell us a little bit about what her influence on you was.
I mean, going back from the first day I got here, you know, into the professional scene, she's been coaching me, mentoring me, giving me all the information that I needed to score as many goals as I've been able to do. So, I mean, I couldn't have had a better situation, better leader. You know, Mia's going down in my book as legendary, as everybody already knows.
Now, are you passing that down to Alex Morgan?
I hope so. I mean, not that I feel like I'm a legend, but, you know, I think Alex is on pace to score way more than both Mia and myself. You know, my career isn't going to last as long as I'm sure Alex's will. So I'm really proud of her and her growth over the last couple of years.
Abby, we followed that wonderful route to the Olympic gold medal last year. You came up with that great quote to us. I'm going to leave all my human beingness on the field at Wembley to ensure you got gold, and you did so. You've achieved so much. When this record falls, what is left for you? You've been injured, you've had an Achilles problem. What keeps you going?
I mean, the elusive World Cup title that I've never won. It's a pretty simple answer in my opinion, and you know, we got a couple years to wait for that, but my sights are already set on that. You know, if I break the record from now until then, great, but at the end of the day, that championship will mean way more than any world record. No offense to Mia, because she's obviously garnered all the respect and my respect especially. So I'm excited to be here. More importantly, I'll be excited to be in Canada in 2015.
Boy, if you keep going to the next World Cup, we're talking 200 goals here. This is absolutely incredible.
Hey, look, I'm just working on 157, so.
In terms of how you feel, how are you going to get yourself there? Because saying you want to do it, obviously you're a determined character, you're a competitor, you do have this Achilles problem. You either play with a smile, it seems to me, or a grimace in pain. How are you going to get yourself to Canada?
You know, it's just a matter of making sure my body's performing and I'm performing. You know, I'm not on the roster by any means. Tom still has to select the roster going into 2015, and I've got from now until then to prove that I'm good enough and healthy enough to do it.
Now, this is the healthiest I have seen you in a couple years. What are you doing differently to keep yourself in this shape?
Well, aside from booting my foot every single night, which is not very comfortable to sleep in, but we have a fantastic training staff here. They keep me, you know, at peak, as much peak performance as I possibly can get. And then, of course, you know, your off-season training regimen is crucial so that you can last throughout any kind of season.
Abby, we better let you go. You've got to get changed. You've got 90 minutes to play. All the best. If the record falls tonight, great. If it's not tonight, at some point in the future, congratulations from us in advance. What a terrific servant to US women's soccer. Abby Wambach joining us just a few moments before kickoff. You'll have the lineups with Kate Markgraf and Russ Taylor will join us in a few moments' time. What a reception for Abby Wambach. Stay with us.
Very excited group of soccer fans tonight at Red Bull Arena to see the U.S. national team take on South Korea. And Saturday night, the 2013 Stanley Cup Final presented by Geico continues live in prime time with Game 5 between the Bruins and Blackhawks. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on the NBC Sports Network, leading up to the action on NBC. Welcome back, everybody. Russ Thaler now with Kate Markgraf. And Kate, this is the last time we're going to get to see the national team until September, and we're expecting in the vicinity of 20,000 at Red Bull Arena tonight. Let's take a look at the lineup, starting with USA and Tom Sermanni starting 11.
Well, Tom Sermanni is going with the 4-4-2, and this back four, along with Hope Solo, has never played together. So watch, but more importantly, listen to Hope Solo and Christy Rampone, the 2 veterans leading this young unit. And in the midfield, they're in a diamond shape. They're a little bit more tucked in. Coach Sermanni wanted them not to be so isolated. Carly Lloyd, number 10, will dictate the tempo, and the creativity comes from number 12, Lauren Cheney. And she's going to be trying to hit Alex Morgan and Abby Wambach, whether it's on the ground, whether it's in the air. She will try to create some combination play.
And now let's take a look at South Korea's starting 11.
They're going to line up in a 4-5-1, and what's interesting is they're doing the same exact roster that suited up against the United States in their 4-1 defeat. And the reason why they're doing this is to build confidence. And this is a team, you can't pick out one player because the sum is greater than its part, but if you could, you're going to pick out number 10, Ji So-young. They call her the G Messi. She's so good with the ball, clinical finisher, and a great passer. She is a difference maker for this team.
I like that, the G Messi.
Yeah, that was her name during the Youth World Cup. She scored 8 goals in 6 matches.
Very nice. Hey, there's so much familiarity with the U.S. team. We know so many of the names, but Tom Sermanni, he's only been the head coach of this team in 2013. Where is he in his development as the manager of the most successful national team in the world?
You know, I don't think Tom Sermanni is currently developing anything. I think he's assessing. And what he is doing is he's giving young players chance. Done tonight. Klingenberg at outside back. It's exciting. I haven't seen a coach in this long, this many opportunities to young players.
We are seeing a little bit of a youth movement tonight with those fullbacks. What do you know about them on USA?
Well, for Crystal Dunn, she's a winner. She's won at the Youth World Cup level. 2012 last year. She's also won an NCAA championship. This girl can play end line, endurance, speed. She has it all. Just lacks experience and needs a little bit more technique. She's going to build, and Tom Sermanni is giving her that chance.
And when you come into a side like this, if you can't go, you're exposed pretty quickly. So anyone who's out there on the field, we know has something special in them. And the players are just about ready to take the field. So let's take you all the way up top and join Arlo White.
Russ, thank you very much indeed. And there she is, straight from our set into the locker room, a quick change, and she's ready. Could tonight be the night? It's a tall order to score a hat-trick in any form of soccer, of course, and we're not disrespecting South Korea, who I thought played pretty well at times in keeping the ball in that 4-1 defeat that perhaps flattered the US a little bit in Foxborough on Saturday, but she is a prolific goal scorer. 156 came on Saturday, that injury time penalty. The 100th US women's national team win when Abby Wambach scores a goal. A terrific player. It could be a dramatic night. International friendly action to come after the break. And welcome back to Red Bull Arena on a beautiful evening in Harrison, New Jersey. It's the United States women's national team against South Korea tonight on the NBC Sports Network. And the US team being greeted with loud cheers. There was Alex Morgan. Olympic gold medalists just short of 12 months ago. Megan Rapinoe's back. And wait for this reception for Abby Wambach. On 156 international goals. The great Mia Hamm is watching at home tonight. She holds the record on 158. It's time for the national anthems.
Rise and remove your hat for the playing of the national anthem of the Korea Republic, followed by the national anthem of the United States of America.
Well, there's a wonderful, enthusiastic crowd on hand here tonight at the Red Bull Arena. It's the USA against South Korea. Abby Wambach chasing history. The kickoff is next. Kickoff is moments away at the Red Bull Arena. Let's head down to Kate Markgraf between the benches for us tonight for the players to watch. Kate, who have you picked out tonight for us?
Well, for the United States, you have to talk about Alex Morgan. Her off-the-ball movement is world-class. Tom Sermanni wants her running at the back line consistently for 90 minutes, more runs than she traditionally does. And for South Korea, number 8, Choi Seo-hwan. She scored the lone goal against the United States a couple days ago. She will be coming from deep lying positions, making it really difficult for the United States to pick her up. But she's got some confidence, and she's excited to score, and she wants to do it again today.
Kate, thank you. Kate Markgraf with all the observations and analysis from between the benches tonight. Let's get to the head coaches. Tom Sermanni from Glasgow in Scotland, appointed to succeed Piers Sundhage in October after 8 years in charge of Australia. He is the 3rd consecutive US coach to stay unbeaten in their opening 10 games. Yoon Deok-yeol, 52 years old, a former South Korean national team defender himself who played at the 1990 World Cup in Italy. And tonight's referee, Margaret Domko from Wisconsin. She represented the US at last year's U20 World Cup in Japan, which of course the Americans won. So Abby Wambach is on 156 international goals, just 2 short of Mia Hamm's international scoring record. And with a youthful defence alongside the vastly experienced Christie Rampone, this could be a glimpse into the future for Tom Sermanni's US national team. The World Cup is 2 years away. Megan Rapinoe returns to the side, is offside. But a bright start, to say the least, Kate, to this match tonight from the US side.
Well, that's something the United States must be encouraged by, is seeing a happy Megan Rapinoe. She is a player that plays better when she's happy off the field. Just coming back from France, a direct ball into Alex Morgan, turning. Unfortunately, Rapinoe mistimes her run, gets behind the defense a little bit too early. But look at the numbers they're putting forward early on in the game.
Rapinoe, as you mentioned there, just back from Europe. She got to the Champions League final with Lyon. And they were shocked by Wolfsburg at Stamford Bridge in London. Here's Rapinoe again, the home of Chelsea Football Club from the English Premier League. It was formally announced yesterday by the NWSL side, the Seattle Reign, that Rapinoe will be joining them. And most likely to make her debut at the weekend. They need her. The Reign have started the season poorly, 0-9-1. But what a terrific experience for Megan Rapinoe. We spoke to her yesterday. Asked her to describe the difference from playing soccer in the United States to perhaps in Europe. She says awareness. The players, perhaps not the biggest or the strongest in Europe, but they are technically very good. And it's a theme, Kate, that we've heard from the players and Tom Sermanni over the last couple of days. This idea that the United States, at national team level, the game has to get a little bit more sophisticated because it's getting better around the world, isn't it?
Well, what was more glaring to me was her statement when she said, listen, I'm the most technical player, along with Tobin, on the United States women's national team, but I'm average at Lyon. So that's a sign that the whole team, she believes, needs to get a little bit better to pick when to go and when to hold the ball. And she's excited to come back and try to get better. Now she's inspired just to improve her game even more.
Fouled by Alex Morgan there. 2 minutes gone, scoreless thus far. The World Cup in Canada is over 2 years away. We as yet don't know where the United States qualification tournament will be held in CONCACAF. The team will continue to build under Tom Sermanni. Here's Lauren Cheney. Heather O'Reilly. Morgan is onside. Peeling down the centre is Abby Wambach. Outside of Morgan is O'Reilly from New Jersey, of course, and the ball just out of play. Couldn't quite wrap her foot around it. Heather O'Reilly. Experienced campaigner, 188th cap tonight. And of course, she put the cross in at Old Trafford for that incredible 123rd minute winning goal in the 4-3 win over Canada by Alex Morgan to reach the gold medal match. Yeah, the Jersey goals tonight, 3 of them starting. Lloyd, Rampone and O'Reilly on home turf. The South Koreans can barely get out of their own half in the early stages here. Alex Morgan. Here's Cheon Eun-ha. And that's to the central midfielder, Kim Na-rae. That ball will just about get there, almost intercepted by Abby Wambach. Kim Hae-ri is the fullback, number 20, who liked to push forward at Foxborough on Saturday. It was a 4-1 defeat for the South Koreans. It was interesting into the second half. They only trailed by 2-1. The US got off to a great start. They scored in the 3rd minute. Christy Mewis with her first international goal. Lauren Cheney with her first for over a year. And then the South Koreans got into the game, I felt, Kate, and they actually held the ball quite nicely for periods of play.
Well, I talked to someone with the South Korean Federation. They said, listen, we were just a bit nervous that first 10 minutes, and we got punished, but they felt they were able to bring their game to it, some possession, and some ability to hold on to the game. Now they just want to limit the first 10 minutes and not give the United States chances like that.
Yeah. Shim So-yeon, the captain of South Korea. She did well against Alex Morgan. Morgan didn't score any of those 4 goals at the weekend. She's got her work cut out again tonight. Here's Morgan. Towards the back post is a volleyed opportunity here for Carly Lloyd, who scored from range on Saturday. Not this time for the US number 10, who scored famously 2 goals in the gold medal match. And there's already an inquest at the back there for the South Koreans. But 2 terrific goals at Wembley Stadium. And that 2-1 victory over Japan and another gold medal. She just scores in Olympic gold medal matches, Kate, doesn't she?
Oh, she scores when it matters most. If you're not going to score at all, that's the time to do it. Now, she's just a big-time player when it comes on, and she can strike from distance. She's playing...
That's risky. Alex Morgan has picked the pocket of the South Korean defense, and that's borderline. There was a challenge by Cho So-hyun in the penalty area. On Alex Morgan, the breakdown of communication, the attempted short goal kick just didn't work. Got to be so mindful of the pace and power of Alex Morgan up top. And once again, South Korea showing some early nerves here, just settling into the game. Here's Lee Se-chin. She was given the run around by Sydney Leroux at the weekend. Cross to the back post. There's a very good one, and here it comes, almost to Abby Wambach, who was lurking on the edge of the 6-yard area. Turned back beautifully by Alex Morgan. It was a deep, probing cross from Heather O'Reilly.
Well, in order to beat teams that like to condense so much, they're able to dispossess South Korea. But look at the entire South Korea team is pinched over. Alex Morgan trying to get it back, but Kim Jung-ri, quick off her line, reading the ball and snuffing out the opportunity.
Well, we talked to Tom Sermanni yesterday. Very amiable man from Glasgow in Scotland. 8 years as coach of Australia. Nicknamed the Matildas, as in waltzing Matildas. He advanced the national team in that country. Now he's got a job on here for the United States. And we talked about Abby Wambach chasing this record. Chasing Mia is the hashtag being used by US Soccer. He said he won't alter the game plan. He expects her to play for 90 minutes tonight. Here's Lauren Cheney. Alex Morgan's had a very bright start. Rapinoe, curling cross towards Wambach. Oh, it bounces awkwardly. Kim Chung-mi, playing her 64th international, South Korean goalkeeper. Flicked on wide by Cho So-hyun, but here's Megan Rapinoe again. Look at the angle of that ball, curling into the path of Alex Morgan. Look out for Abby Wambach, number 20. The low ball comes in this time. And a chance on the edge of the area. Here's the drive, and it's wide. That was real Carly Lloyd territory that time, closer than she was on Saturday. Then she found the net with a low drive to the goalkeeper's right. Not this time.
Well, it's a great textured ball bending into Alex Morgan's run, and she lays off. The intended recipient is Abby Wambach, but this is why I like Carly Lloyd's defensive center mid. She can hold back, read the play, and jump onto it because she has such a strong, powerful strike from distance.
4 goals in those Olympic Games last year for Carly Lloyd. And remember, she went into the tournament effectively as a backup. Always likely to get some game time, but she came in for the injured Shannon Box, and one of the stars of the show in the end. 44 international goals for her now. Combination of Rapinoe and Lloyd rise to that one, but here comes South Korea, but not for long. South Korea, FIFA World Ranking of 16. They've made 1 appearance in the World Cup. That was in 2003 when the tournament was shifted to the USA. They lost all 3 games. They've yet to appear in an Olympic Games, but have had success at youth level. World Cup winners at U17 level in 2010. There's Morgan. The future looking bright for South Korea. The immediate future not looking so great with Morgan into the penalty area. And there's a corner kick, number 2 for the United States. Remember Megan Rapinoe curling one in for an Olympico at, of all places, Old Trafford in that epic semi-final against Canada. Abby Wambach is lurking at the back edge of the penalty area. Here comes the delivery, low to the near post. Cheney. Back to Rapinoe. Low cross again. Could it go all the way through? The Americans are claiming it's come off a South Korean defender, and that is the case. Corner number 3 then. In the early stages here to the USA.
The United States has lots of options. Look for Wambach. Look for number 14, Whitney Engen. They're both very dominant in the air, along with Carly Lloyd, number 10.
Wambach has scored 67 of her 156 goals with her head. She's got her arm raised here. She is the target. She rises. Just a little too high into her left-hand side that time. Rampone there. Just ahead of Park Hee-young. Here's Alex Morgan again. Cho So-hyun is the defender. Cheney with the cross. Here's Wambach in the area. Back to goal. Abby Wambach! 157 for Abby Wambach. And this could be a big night for her and for US soccer. 1-0 to the United States. She's got her early goal.
She does, and that is just one step closer. What I love is a difference in this goal. You got Alex Morgan back to pressure. She's working on how to play with her back to pressure. It gets served to Abby, and this is why she's so good. She can hold people off so strong, gets on the half turn with her touch, looks up, finds a keeper, and places it right past keeper. Look at this. Look at the strength on the ball. 2 players, one behind, one coming back on her, has the patience and the poise to turn under pressure, pick her head up, and slot it right by the keeper's feet. It's a difficult reaction save for Kim Jung-mi for South Korea.
Her first goal was April the 22nd, 2002. A 3-0 victory against Finland in San Jose. She's now on 157 goals, 1 short of the record. South Korea venture into the US penalty area for the first time tonight. An incredible record for Abby Wambach. She averages a goal every 101 minutes on the field, compared to Mia Hamm's 130 minutes. This is her 207th international. And this could be a very, very exciting night, as Wambach chases Mia Hamm's record. From South Korea, who've conceded early again. Flip forward, Wambach. The flag stays down. Abby Wambach. Is this the record tire? No, it's not. It was an excellent save by Kim Jung-mi in the end. Everybody looking down at the assistant referee to wait for a flag, perhaps. None came. Wambach strode through, but the goalkeeper was strong.
South Korea is getting very lucky. A miscue by number 5, Lee Se-jin, holds Wambach on line. And with a breakaway, unfortunately, just too close to the keeper. A kick save, a good reaction save by Kim Jung-mi.
Crystal Dunn with the throw-in. Only her 6th appearance. Just showing the depth of talent available on the production line in UN's women's soccer. Here's Cheney. Inside it goes. Alex Morgan into the penalty area. Morgan is there, and it clatters into the midriff of Shin So-hyun. Wambach was at the far post again. I don't know, Kate, was she shooting her or trying to tee up Wambach?
I think everyone's trying to tee up Wambach. Number 5, Lee Se-jin for South Korea, leaves her on. Wambach takes a touch to cut off her defender, and unfortunately doesn't get it wide enough of Kim Jung-mi.
So the 4th corner for the United States. Here's Alex Morgan to take it. Crossing goes, flicked header. Wambach in the penalty area again. She can't get a chance this time to get a shot away. And there's a chance of a breakaway here for South Korea. Ji So-hyun. Excellent defending by Crystal Dunn. And she keeps the ball in play as well. Only 20 years old, Crystal Dunn, from the University of North Carolina. She was an unused substitute on Saturday. We asked her somewhat cheekily yesterday, Kate, didn't we? Do you have any posters of the national team on your wall? She smiled and said no comment.
She absolutely does, without a doubt. There is no doubt in her mind, but I wouldn't want to say it either. I said that once in an interview, and I got heckled for it by my older teammates for my whole life.
Ah, there you go. You set a precedent.
Embarrassment.
Wambach from distance. Will she have a go? She does. It takes a deflection of Alex Morgan. It makes it a little bit awkward there for Kim Jung-mi. Well, I'd say she's got a particular eye for goal tonight, but having scored 157 international goals, it's just a normal night at the office for Abby Wambach, really, isn't it?
That was a bit ambitious. Long distance shots are not her bread and butter. In fact, 40% of her goals come from balls in the air. So I would leave those more to a Carly Lloyd, but right now, let her have them. They're not crushing her. It's the option. You might as well take it.
The United States currently on a 33-match unbeaten run. And Abby Wambach's goals have contributed to that. And there are the latest standings. Mia Hamm took 273 games, by the way, to get to 158. Wambach on pace to beat the record in a fewer amount of games. She's played in some very good teams. And she told us on our set before the game, she's going to stick around. She wants a World Cup winners medal. She wants what you've got, Kate.
They all actually want just another star on the U.S. soccer jersey. It's on their sleeve. They have 2 right now. I think she would have retired after the Olympics had they won in 2011, which they lost in penalty kicks to Japan. She did score in that game. And the thing about Abby is you always know she will put her body on the line.
Look at Gunn into the area. That's a lovely ball across the face of goal. Just too far for Alex Morgan, but as usual, Morgan retrieves well. Here's Megan Rapinoe. Cheney making a good run into the penalty area. Determined play by Crystal Dunn down the right-hand side. She said yesterday, when I asked her what her key strengths were, she said tenacity. Rapinoe into the area. Wambach on the edge of the 6-yard box. Rapinoe onto the right foot. Here comes the cross to the near post. Kim Hae-ri battling there with Megan Rapinoe. Hae-ri down off the field. It's a barrage at the moment for the South Koreans. Let's take a look at Crystal Dunn's work here, Kate.
Well, just the speed of Crystal Dunn. She times her run perfectly, gets behind the defender, and then she goes on the other one, reads where that person is going, good anticipation. And this is a highly sophisticated ball. Playing it early, behind the defense. They're all facing towards their own goal, making it very difficult to cover. But number 20, Kim Hae-ri for South Korea, does a good job shepherding the ball out of bounds and taking Alex Morgan and preventing any opportunity she had towards goal.
And Crystal Dunn, just one of the members of the United States U20 team that we mentioned earlier that won the World Cup against Germany in September in Japan. 1-0 in the final. They'd lost 3-0 to Germany earlier in the tournament. They fought back. Crystal was telling us yesterday, so much depth in US women's soccer. It's frightening for the rest of the world. Current Olympic champions. And here's Abby Wambach again. Lauren Cheney. Wambach goes into the penalty area. Alex Morgan. They're having difficulty playing it out of their own third here. Defensive third, South Korea. Just like that. Heather O'Reilly towards the penalty area. Wambach's there, of course, again. O'Reilly tries to measure a ball into the near post. Now it's Cheney. Cheney fires it across towards Wambach. He doesn't get there. Now Carly Lloyd. Here comes South Korea. Possibilities here. Numbers in attack for them. Here's the striker, Yu Young-ah, inside of Dunn. Nicely played into the centre of the field to Cho So-hyun. Now the fullback, Lee Se-chin. Wants to spread the ball wide intelligently. That's a Park Hee-young. But it's offside.
What's different from this game from the last one is I thought South Korea in the previous matchup was able to have 2 or 3 passes and then ping a long distance ball to the feet of a player and get an advantage on the weak side of the United States. Right now, USA has fixed that by pressuring the person on the ball a little bit more, making that pass more inaccurate. And that's why South Korea has not been able to find the rhythm, get the ball, pass it around like they build their confidence, like they work their bread and butter, how they play soccer.
Here's Megan Rapinoe. Lauren Cheney. Bursting up the left-hand side, Megan Klingenberg offering her support. Carly Lloyd. Here is Klingenberg. There's Mattiaso in Sweden, just arrived with the camp. Cheney. Here it is! 158 for Abby Wambach! She's level with Mia Hamm! What a moment! History at the Red Bull Arena. The joint world record holder in international soccer for goal scoring is Abby Wambach.
Well, they've taken the ball and they've taken it off the field. They give it to the United States bench, and they're going to hold on to it. That's very customary for any time a record, a cap, or a special goal has been scored. They're going to save that, sign it. You get to see a look at that goal. Lauren Cheney gets a turn, flips it in. Abby Wambach's signature diving header, redirects it, times it well, gets just enough on it, loses their player. Poor man marking by South Korea captain Shim Seo-yeon. And there's the parents, Pete and Judy Wambach. A lot of the families in town up in the box. All her friends and loved ones there to support her on her big, potentially big night, which it is turning out to be.
You wouldn't bet against it now, Kate, would you? 70 minutes remaining, 1 goal required. She's in the mood. Mia Hamm, the great Mia Hamm, has held the record since scoring her 98th goal, by the way, in 1998. He took it past Michelle Akers. Here's Alex Morgan. Wambach's in the penalty area. Well, we say hat-tricks are hard to come by in international soccer. She's scored 5 of them in her career amidst 38 multi-goal games. She's now got the record for that, by the way, off Mia Hamm. This is her 39th. But I think the roof will lift off the Red Bull Arena if Abby Wambach can notch a hat-trick and get 159 and break the record tonight. Megan Rapinoe with the corner kick. Wambach at the back post to make a darting run, trademark run. There she is, and it's a good header clear. And as far as Lauren Cheney, Heather O'Reilly, she'll have a go. It's deflected. And straight into the midriff in the end of the relieved goalkeeper, Kim Chung-mi. An electrifying performance so far by the United States. Abby Wambach said she's tired of the talk about this record. She wants it over soon. I've got so much respect for me, as she told us yesterday. The record doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I don't think it really does, but I don't quite 100% buy into that. I think the record does matter. But when I talked to Mia last night, she's like, I'm like, Mia, was there a lot of pressure on you when you were trying to break the scoring record? And she's like, Kate, that's your job as a forward, is to score goals. It's not like you're asking her to do something that she's not supposed to be doing. It's a bit of a distraction, but you want to do it for yourself, but you also want to do it for your team. You want to share this experience with the people that helped you.
This will be offside. There's a lovely free ball by Ji So-yeon towards Park Hee-young. It just was a split second too late and the flag goes up.
It was poorly timed run, but just to finish it off, she just said you want to share this with your teammates because they're living this experience with you. So I think she absolutely wants to break the record, and maybe tonight will be the night.
Diagonal ball towards Heather O'Reilly. Lee Se-chin, it looks to me, yes, she has. She's conceded the corner. Number 6. And look, Kate, let's be honest, it's 2 years until the World Cup in Canada. If people are talking about US women's soccer in the United States because of this record chase, well, that's got to be good.
All press is good press, and this is the good kind of press that you want.
Cheney takes a short corner. Alex Morgan towards the back post. Wambach was unmarked, believe it or not. Cheney again. Wambach hovering on the edge of the 18-yard area. Fitting that the record equaling goal was a header. Number 68 of the 158 goals. And here's another opportunity from a set piece for the United States. Megan Rapinoe is over it. Lauren Cheney will stand in an offside position just to confuse the South Korean defense. Heather O'Reilly there as well. One back in that crowd of players on the edge of the 18-yard area. Referee Margaret Domka from Wisconsin just wants the wall, the one-woman wall of Yu Young-ah, back 10 yards. Here comes the cross. Before it gets to one back, it's headed half clear. Here comes a shot, and it's just wide from Heather O'Reilly. Excellent effort with the left foot from East Brunswick, New Jersey, Heather O'Reilly. Wasn't far off with this one.
Now the ball is played into a dangerous position, cleared by South Korea. Heather O'Reilly takes a touch. It's bouncing backwards, but it's impressive that she was able to lean back and still get that much power on a shot and keep it low with her non-dominant foot.
Kim Chung-mi sends the ball towards the halfway line. A commanding header by Carly Lloyd. They've lost out this time, the United States. Ji So-young in field to Cho Sho-hyun. And it's offside once again, this time against Kim Na-rae, who played 71 minutes at the weekend.
What's interesting to watch is the distance between the midfield and the back line of the United States. It's much tighter than I've seen in a long time, which is making these South Korea runs offsides. They're going to have to time it a lot better if they're going to have success with the short, long ball.
Kim Na-rae, by the way, plays in the WK League, the Women's Korean League, for a team called Suwon. To give them their full title, the Suwon City Facilities Management Corporation Women's Football Club. I want to know what the chant is on the terraces for that team.
We so wanted to say that.
Here's Rapinoe. Morgan's onside. One back's on the edge of the area. Alex Morgan with the shot. He takes a deflection. Morgan again. Rapinoe's lingering in the penalty area on the edge of the 6-yard box, and in the end she's adjudged to have fouled Ji So-young, and the South Koreans can relieve a little bit of the pressure here momentarily. I'm hearing that US Soccer have changed their hashtag on Twitter from chasing Mia to hashtag caught Mia. I wonder if that'll change again before the night is out.
I'm sitting in between the two benches, and the South Korean coach Yoon Duck-yeol has not sat down the entire time. He's trying to organize his team, telling his team to get a bit more compact, put more pressure, which appears what he's saying with his hand motions. Put more pressure, get tighter, and don't give the United States such free will to play whatever ball they want.
And that was a heavy clash between Abby Wambach and Lim Son-chu in the centre of the field. The centre-back, Lim. Both up. Both seemingly okay. 20th cap for her tonight. She scored one international goal, Lim Son-chu, from Hyundai Steel. Rampone with the free kick. Flick on, good flick on in the penalty area. Sails harmlessly wide in the end. Whitney Engen winning her 9th cap today. She plays her soccer, her club soccer, in England in the Women's Super League for Liverpool Ladies. They're on a break over there for the upcoming European Championships. Pia Sundhage, the recent former coach of this side, is in charge of her native Sweden on home territory for that tournament. She's forcing her way into the side, Engen. 5th appearance of 2013. She started the Algarve Cup final win over Germany earlier this year.
She's a typical center back. She's big, strong, great in the air, excellent one-for-one defender. What is impressing most in her growth, because I played with her rookie year for the WBS Chicago Red Stars, is her communication. She kind of let me communicate because I played next to her. But now I can hear her from the side of the field, and I think that not only helps the players around her, but that helps her stay focused in the game.
Lauren Cheney. Here's Christy Rampone again. Turns 38 years old on Monday, still going strong. Here's Engen. Rampone again, cap number 283 tonight. Remarkable record for her. Lovely turn by Alex Morgan. Here's Carly Lloyd. Morgan continues her run. It was just a shade or two behind her. Morgan, though, could get on the end of this from Abby Wambach. Look at the run by Heather O'Reilly to the corner of the 6-yard area. And it's another corner for the United States. Their 7th of the game. Alex Morgan has 44 goals herself in 67 internationals. Megan Rapinoe again. Low driven cross towards Wambach! History is made! Goal number 159! It's the international scoring record, one more than the great Mia Hamm.
The way she plays, the way she's so courageous, puts her body on the line. It does not matter. You knew it was a matter of time when you played with her. To beat this record, to go and challenge it and now to beat it.
I think the significance slightly lost for a moment there on the South Koreans who were trying to take the ball. It's a piece of history in US soccer, that ball. Mum's shedding a tear. It's a hat-trick. Abby Wambach peers up to the suite that contains her family. They're from upstate New York, the Rochester area. And she's done it in 29 minutes or so. A 6th international hat-trick, 159 goals. It's worth mentioning that Christine Sinclair, the great Canadian striker, is on 145. Those two will continue, I'm sure, to go toe-to-toe for a while yet. And worth remembering as well, what a wonderful servant to the United States women's game Mia Hamm was and continues to be. Records are there to be broken. Abby Wambach has 159 goals. It is truly remarkable. Congratulations to her. And it's 3-0. Did I mention that, Kate?
By the way, side note.
Well, it could be a huge scoreline tonight, but I guess in a way they've got what they wanted. They've got the 3 goals for Abby Wambach. The wait is over. Let's see how they approach the rest of this game. It's the last game for a while until the fall friendlies, yet to be announced. And the crowd are being informed, if they didn't know already, exactly the significance of that last goal for Abby Wambach. Megan Rapinoe. She once scored 5 in a game, Wambach. Maybe that's on tonight. Here comes the cross towards Abby Wambach. And wasn't it fitting, Kate? The goal number 159 came with her head. Her 69th headed goal. Carly Lloyd towards the penalty area. It's a rash challenge, just got a toe on the ball there. Kim Na-rae. Done in strongly again, leaving Ji So-yeon on the ground. Look at the skill from Dunn. Gets the cross over towards Wambach. She whips this time. Well, the first time left foot strike into the top corner, I think he's asking a lot.
Well, one thing that's impressive for the United States, this is the most excited and energy I've seen them come out in the first half. They've been kind of a little bit lax. They're trying to figure out how to play in the system that Tom Sermanni wants to play, in the style they want to play. And this is the first time I've seen them be a bit more proactive, go forward, maybe because they want to get rid of this bit of a distraction. As wonderful it is to break this record, it was on everyone's mind. Instead of being 100% able to focus on how they want to grow as a team, this has been a talking point not only for Wambach, but for everybody else.
Given away by Carly Lloyd. Here comes South Korea. 3 red shirts in the attack. Ji So-yeon takes possession. Dunn is the defender. And the overlap on the outside. On the right-hand side is Chon Eun-ha. And she get a crossover. 2 red shirts in the penalty area. Works it onto the right foot. Straight to Dunn. Shows good poise until that moment. She gives the ball away. Cho So-hyun. Worked on immediately by Heather O'Reilly. Battling away is the always strong Alex Morgan. Fighting there with Shin So-yeon, and Morgan came out the winner. Well, it's been a remarkable night so far. She said to us yesterday, Abby Wambach, she will text or call Mia Hamm at some stage when the dust settles. But she seemed confident when we spoke to her at this stadium yesterday. Flag should be raised here against Alex Morgan. It is. And I asked her, what chance tonight? She was a little coy on the set before the game. But she did say there is a chance, with a bit of a smile. Let's relive this historic moment. Goal number 159 for Abby Wambach.
Look at her timing. Perfect power, gets her body around, always goes to the person who gave her the ball. In this case, Megan Rapinoe. Typical, classic, and very fitting that our 159th goal was in that manner.
And a 7th hat-trick ties Michelle Akers for the 3rd most in US history. The records will continue to tumble. Rampone, Rapinoe. That's Klingenberg available on the left-hand side. Here she is, working against Lee Se-chin. Berg again in towards Alex Morgan. Good challenge in the end by Cho So-hyun. In fact, that was Lim Son-chu, excuse me. Injury-wise, she had been struggling with tendonitis in her Achilles, Kate, hadn't she? But she says she sleeps in a boot every night. Things are getting better on the injury front. She turned 33 on June the 2nd. She'll be 35 at the World Cup in 2015.
Yeah, she's figured out how to manage it. You know, this was something that was debilitating her performance. It hurt so bad. You could see the grimaces in her face. She was getting injections just to reduce the inflammation. And that overall grind on your psyche day in and day out, knowing that you're going to play hurt, takes its toll on your performance.
Yu Young-ga with a nice ball to Park Hee-young. Yu Young-ga on the edge of the penalty area. Can she get a shot away against Hope Solo? She's ushered out to the penalty area by Rampone, and the drive comes in the end. It's a fairly lame effort, unfortunately, for the South Koreans from Park Hee-young.
But that's what South Korea is going to look to do. Right now, the United States has all the possession. Where they're going to get an opportunity is on the break. Dispossess 2 or 3 passes and go quickly. What I don't think they're doing well is they're not playing with power and strength. They're stronger than this. They seem a bit intimidated. And this is an inexperienced side that's taking a bit of a licking at the moment.
Lovely vision by Cheney. Rapinoe perhaps a tap fortunate to get away with a handball. Klingenberg on the overlap against Cho So-hyun. Space and time here for Megan Rapinoe on the right foot. Carly Lloyd makes herself available. Rapinoe fancies a shot here. It's charged down in the end by the centre-back Lim Son-chu. Rapinoe again. Cheney. Rapinoe. That's a good interception by Ji So-yeon. Making the run on the halfway line. She just strayed again. The ball came, to be fair to Yu Young-ga, it came a little bit late. She was actually in her own half, which wouldn't have been offside if the ball came a little bit quicker, but not so from Ji So-yeon this time.
Yeah, Ji So-yeon is usually so good at playing those clinical finishes and the passes and dribbling at players. For South Korea to get a chance to get back in this game, she needs to see the ball more, but she also needs to put the game on her shoulders a little bit and take people on. That's what she's known for.
Cheney, outside of the boot, to Heather O'Reilly. Towards the penalty area, O'Reilly. Wants the ball over, edge of the area, and Lauren Cheney. She slices the effort, unfortunately for her. She scored the 2nd goal on Saturday, Lauren Cheney, after 7 minutes. It was her first international goal since January of 2012. That in a 13-0 win against Guatemala in the qualifiers. On good form for FC Kansas City in the NWSL this year. 4 goals, 4 assists in 8 appearances.
She's a quiet performer. You don't realize how vital she is to the rhythm and the tempo of teams. And what makes her special, she can turn in the pocket. She can turn with pressure on her and totally nullify an entire midfield straight line. That's why Cheney is so special. And in order for the United States to utilize her talents, she needs to stay close to the forwards, because that's when she's the most effective.
Do you think going forward that Carly Lloyd's going to be happy with this position as the effectively the holding defensive midfielder, someone who really likes to get forward a lot, Carly Lloyd, doesn't she?
I imagine some reluctancy, but I think if you want to play and the coach is like, this might be where I want to see you, you're going to take that opportunity, make the best of it. I think it suits her. She's so good in the air. She times it well. She's powerful, excellent on the tackle. And she's great at taking that one long touch and unleashing a powerful shot. There is no better space than that than coming from the defensive mid on a late timed run.
Shannon Box, you could argue, Kate, is the first choice in that position. She will be 38 by the time of the next World Cup in Canada in 2015. There is no obvious heir apparent coming through, which may mean that Carly Lloyd would have to get used to it, I guess. That's if, of course, Shannon Box doesn't retake that spot. She's had minor knee surgery recently.
Right. I think that's what, first it was the outside backs. The United States need more attacking outside backs. They're getting that. And now it's defensive mids. They need defensive mids. Shannon Box is the #1. But you know what? Right now, with the depth the United States have, it's going to be pretty tough to tell the AA team from the B team over the next year.
It's Lauren Cheney. Incidentally, if you are on Twitter, you can follow Mia Hamm at Mia Hamm, and she's tweeted, "Congratulations, Abby Wambach. So proud of you, my friend. You are a warrior and a true champion. Enjoy it." Pure class from Mia Hamm. She's so young. And again, we're congested by the sideline. Throw into the South Koreans. Inside the final 5 minutes of a memorable first half here at the Red Bull Arena. One that will go down in history in US women's soccer. 3 goals for Abby Wambach if you're just joining us. All inside the first half an hour. Here she is again on 159 international goals, new world record. What's so interesting, you told the tale yesterday, Kate, and I think in the pre-game show as well, where Mia Hamm took her to one side and mentored Abby Wambach in the early days of the Washington Freedom. Mia saw that she had something special. She had the weapons to be a very, very good player. And she said, one day you will take my scoring record. And it's just remarkable, isn't it, this lineage in US women's soccer that Abby Wambach's had that conversation with Alex Morgan already, hasn't she?
Well, she learned from the best. I mean, there were no greater mentors than Mia Hamm and the Julie Foudies, and you could tell Abby had something special. She just wasn't performing it consistently. I mean, Mia Hamm, she had the experience to know what it took to have consistent, high-level performances. And credit Abby for listening and watching. It's not that easy for someone to say, hey, try doing this, you need to do this. But it was Mia Hamm, so she did. And that right there, you could see the evolution of her game from 2002 to 2003. She became one of the most dominant forwards at that point and has remained so her entire career.
She was an absolute force of nature at the Olympics last year. She scored 5 goals in the opening 5 games, all the way through to the final. Carly Lloyd got the plaudits, and rightly so, at Wembley against Japan in the 2-1 win for those 2 terrific goals. She took the first, Kate, do you remember, off the left foot of Abby Wambach at the back post, didn't she? With that stooping header that confused a lot of people in Wembley that night. The second was a terrific drive from distance.
Yeah, it was hard to tell who scored that one, but in the end they have a gold medal around their neck, so I don't think either one of them really cares who scored it.
Long ball towards Yu Young-ah. The flag goes up again against South Korea.
Now for South Korea to gain this experience that they so sorely need, they need to have a stiffer learning curve. Right now, that's a 3rd or 4th offside for Yu Young-gun. She needs to hold her run a little bit more and then time it. You only need 4 or 5 yards of distance, and you can do that by just anticipating, delaying her run just a little bit more.
Morgan, look at the space here for Rapinoe. She says, go and get it. Megan Rapinoe keeps the ball in play. One back on the edge of the 6-yard box, being joined by Lauren Cheney. Still Rapinoe, just trying to get some elevation into the penalty area. Crosses blocked. Here's Lloyd. Now to Engen. Says to Abby Wambach, go and get that one. That was a teasing ball. I don't think Kim Chung-mi was too keen to come out for that one. And in the end, it's a goal kick. A relaxed-looking Tom Sermanni. .90 seconds remaining of the first 45 minutes here. United States with a comfortable 3-0 cushion against South Korea in this international friendly on the NBC Sports Network. And here's Ji So-yun for the South Koreans. That's a better ball. It's a better timed run as well by Yoo Young-ga. And eventually the flank does go up. That was closer though. South Koreans do have an excellent chance of qualifying for their second World Cup finals. The field for Canada 2015 extended to 24 teams, and North Korea are banned from the qualifiers. Some of their players tested positive for banned substances at the 2011 World Cup in Germany. So the Asia Women's Cup, which is the qualification tournament, is held in Vietnam next May. And out of 8 teams, 5 will qualify. The powers are Australia, China, Japan in that region. And the rest really, Vietnam, Myanmar, Thailand and Jordan. 5 of those 8 will qualify, so South Korea feeling pretty confident about things. And as Kate mentioned, someone from the South Korean group said that the operation, the aim is the quarterfinals. Plenty of success in the youth tournaments recently. And in that U20 World Cup that the USA won, they lost their opening group game, South Korea, to Nigeria. Then they beat Italy and Brazil to qualify for the quarterfinals. They lost 3-1 to the host Japan. The future looking bright. Alex Morgan into the penalty area. Morgan tees it up. 160 and counting. Four goals in 45 minutes. Abby Wambach is all smiles. And there's daylight in the record now. What play by Alex Morgan.
Oh, it goes down. A give and go between Wambach and Morgan. Play off each other so well. Morgan with an aggressive touch, stealing off a defender. Alex does not have a great shot on goal. She realizes she lacks the angle, looks up, finds Abby, and with the outside of her left foot, Wambach times it perfectly. Wide open net and finishes it.
Well, she has scored 5, as I mentioned earlier, in a game. This isn't the most prolific game of her career. But who knows, it could be. By the 90-minute mark, we've had the minutes of time added on. What a remarkable half of international soccer here in Harrison, New Jersey. We started thinking that Abby Wambach had an outside chance of scoring 3 goals to beat Mia Hamm's record. And in the end, in the first 45 minutes, she's stuck in 4. She's got 160. And everyone can move on, I suppose, after a little bit of a celebration. Wambach again. Rapinoe. Lloyd forward to Cheney. Defended by Engen. And that's half-time. 45 minutes of soccer that will live long in the memory for Abby Wambach, for her family, and for US women's soccer fans. 4 goals for Abby tonight against South Korea. Numbers 157, 158, 159, and 160. There's your new world record holder. Let's head down to Kate with Tom Sermanni.
Hi, Tom. Tell us your thoughts on the first half.
Delighted. You know, obviously a fairy tale first half for Abby, but really delighted with the way we approached the game. That was like what we expect from a US team. We moved the ball extremely well, pressured the opposition really well, and played with a great deal of energy and confidence and really good soccer.
Now thoughts on Abby Wambach breaking the record and now adding 2 to it.
Smashing the record, as it turns out. You know, one great player breaking the record of another great player. So, you know, that's how soccer moves on, and it's great to have stars like Mia having that record. Now a star like Abby taking that away from her, and you know, and then looking for who's next.
Thank you, Tom. Back to you, Arlo.
Okay, thanks very much. Wonderful context provided there by Tom Sermanni. Not one of his toughest half-time speeches to come. That was the goal. That was the moment that she equaled Mia Hamm's record. She's since shattered it. It's 4-0 at half-time.
Welcome to the U.S. Soccer Halftime Report on the NBC Sports Network.
It is all USA over South Korea at the half, 4-0, and it's all about Abby Wambach. As much as she'd like to make it about the team, tonight is about history, and Abby got it going in the 11th minute with goal number 1.
Well, this is the Wambach show. Look at her off the ball movement. She's waiting, she's waiting, she's waiting. Gets in front of her defender. Now she knows exactly where that player is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players closest to Abby. She's able to turn, keep the ball tight to her, turn so no one can dispossess her, and slots it right past the keeper.
So 11 minutes in, she's within 1 goal of Mia Hamm's record for international goal. 10 minutes in fact, and now here comes the record tying goal.
Well, she pulls herself off away from the defender, goes and finds the ball. That's what Wambach always has done, is she goes and she seeks the ball. And then in the last goal, typical Abby Wambach to break the record, times it, her jump, hits it perfectly, the accurate height on her jump, and nails in the back, and that was such power. And then her parents, Judy Wambach, true to form, emotional. This is her loved ones in front of them.
And that was number 159, but she wasn't done yet. Alex Morgan the run, and Wambach the finish, 160.
You know, give credit to Alex Morgan here. She could have been selfish and taken that shot, but instead, she knows it's Abby's night, and she goes and she takes it and she passes it to her with a great ball. Wambach finishes the run, and it's been a wonderful night for Abby Wambach. 4
goals in the first half for Abby Wambach. Her personal record is 5. That's still in the offing. The overall record is hers alone now at 160. And your thoughts from someone who played at this level, played with Abby?
Well, I think you know exactly what she's going to do. You know how strong she is, and you try to fight her, and it doesn't matter. She's stronger than you. And then you try to win a ball off her in the air. It doesn't matter. She's going to out-jump you, out-finesse you, but she's accurate. People do not give her enough credit for how skillful she is. You don't break Mia Hamm's record by just being a big player. You get it because you're a skilled, talented, athletic, and determined individual.
True to her word, we asked Abby what would happen if she broke the record tonight. Yesterday, she said, I'll probably just run to the person who had the assist. Abby Wambach with the record breaker runs right to Megan Rapinoe. We're coming right back with more from Red Bull Arena. Big first half for USA, 4-0 over South Korea. Abby Wambach with all 4 of the goals, including the record breaker. Russ Thaler, Kate Markgraf back here with you at Red Bull Arena. We're also in the midst of the women's professional soccer season, the NWSL, the inaugural season, the National Women's Soccer League. We've seen different incarnations of professional soccer in the United States. What are your early impressions of this league?
Well, I think they're taking it the right way. I think they're building it slowly. Yes, there are areas for lots of improvement, facilities, you know, a little bit more money in the cap so they can get an international player to raise the level. But overall, it's giving an opportunity for these players to play 90 minutes, sometimes 2 times a week, sometimes 4 times in 10 days. They're only going to get better.
We're also watching a national team in transition here for Team USA as they get ready and really ramp up for the 2015 World Cup in Canada. Now, one of the big topics going into that World Cup is field turf. There will be a lot of field turf used during that tournament. FIFA says it's okay with it. How do the players feel about field turf?
Well, I think David Beckham said it best, is you cannot perform to your best on field turf. And also your body does not recover. It takes 2 to 3 days on field turf. This is going to change the dynamics of the World Cup. You have 52 games all played on field turf in a matter of 3 weeks. It's going to affect roster decisions. It's going to affect how you play as a player. You may hold back. And that doesn't, we're not even getting into what it does to the game. On the ball, what it does to a player defending, it does a slide tackle, the rug burn. It's horrible the World Cup is on turf. It would not happen for the men's final, the men's elite World Cup. It should not happen for the women.
It'll certainly test the depth of all of those rosters at the 2015 World Cup in Canada. Saturday, August 17th, NBC and the NBC Sports Network become the new home for the Barclays Premier League. And for the first time ever, watch every match every week live on TV and online. It's the Barclays Premier League beginning Saturday, August 17th. Second half from Red Bull Arena is coming up. USA with a 4-0 lead over South Korea.
You've been watching the U.S. Soccer Halftime Report on the NBC Sports Network.
Welcome back to Red Bull Arena here in Harrison, New Jersey. What a night it's been so far for the U.S. women's national team. And in particular, the star of the show, Abby Wambach. 4 goals so far. The United States lead by 4 goals to 0. And she's the new international goal-scoring record holder with 160 ahead of Mia Hamm's 158. An exhilarating first 45 minutes. 1 substitution for the United States by Tom Sermanni at half-time. Hope Solo was making her 137th appearance, her first start since February against Scotland, but Jill Loyden comes in to earn her 7th cap. She plays NWSL soccer for Sky Blue FC. She most probably would have been the starting goalkeeper in the Algarve Cup in March, with Hope Solo having been injured, but she then fractured her own hand, so she missed the tournament as well. But Loyden in goal. The 10 outfield players for the United States exactly the same. No changes either for South Korea. 1 ball forward. They go straight into the attack. And it's promise here for Ji So-yun. On her outside is Park Hee-young. Here she is. 2 to wait for in the box. The cross goes all the way through. Kim Na-rae will retrieve. Heather O'Reilly with the defending. Chon Eun-ha. Ball breaks to Cho So-hyun. Good start to the second half here by South Korea. Lovely turn by Ji So-yun, just trying to thread it through to Yoo Young-ah. But it was well read. And Rapinoe sends Alex Morgan galloping away again. She's so quick, they're struggling to keep up. Morgan on the left foot, drives it into the side netting.
Well, that's the skill of Megan Rapinoe. She sees that South Korea is up in an expanded attacking shape. That is the time when you set the counter-attack and you go in transition. Sends a long ball into Morgan's path. Morgan cuts it to her left foot, trying to beat the keeper on the near post. That angle's just a bit too tight for that shot.
Okay, it's a tricky situation, isn't it, for South Korea here. 4-0 down at the break. All hopes of a victory here, you would have thought, have evaporated long ago. Beaten 4-1 on Saturday. I thought they turned in a better performance then. But damage limitation for them now, do you think, or will they still try and play?
South Korea still has to try to play because that is the only thing they can do. They can't compete physically. They can't compete with power. Their biggest strength is their possession. And you have to remember, they view this as an experience. They view this as a learning. The time to get better against the best in the world, because they're not looking for the short term. They're not looking for the W today. They're looking for the W in the World Cup to get to the quarterfinals. That is their goal 2 years from now.
So substitution, thank you, Kate, will be made here. Becky Sauerbrunn will come on, and Christy Rampone fittingly hands the captain's armband to Abby Wambach. So Rampone is off from New Jersey. The Garden State has produced 6 players in this squad, and Becky Sauerbrunn is on to earn her 44th cap. 27-year-old from St. Louis. Kim Hae-ri with the throw-in for South Korea. First touch for Sauerbrunn. Cannons off Yoo Young-ah. Ingen with the clearance. Cho So-hyun just trying to thread it through to Ji So-yun, who made the advance move and run in those bright, luminous yellow boots. Klingenberg. Sauerbrunn with a high pressure from the South Koreans. And first touch for Loyden. New US captain Abby Wambach clattered into by Lim Son Chu. 160 goals in 207 appearances, 69 of them headers. And she's actually on a bit of a tear anyway. 22 goals in the last 24.5 games for Abby Wambach. Alex Morgan was given almost 4 minutes at the start of the second half. And this is going to get interesting. Sydney Leroux comes onto the field. Scored recently against Canada in stoppage time in that 3-0 win in Toronto. Another prolific goal scorer in her embryonic international career. 17 goals in 37 appearances. One of the memories, I think, Kate, I'll take away from the Olympic Games with NBC and my native land, I suppose, last year was Sydney Leroux's face. Here she is after scoring the second goal for the US in the quarter-final against New Zealand.
Oh, that face, I think someone actually made her a t-shirt of that face. She is a tweet posted of her with that shirt on, a fan at center. But she's just fast, dynamic, and she's very courageous too. Good in the air, and just someone as a defender when she's running with that much speed, it's a bit intimidating. And the United States is blessed. They have 4 front runners, and only 2 are playing right now. That means 2 could probably start on any other team in the world.
Tegenberg fancies the shot here. To the back post it goes. Heather O'Reilly keeps it in play skillfully. O'Reilly sees it up towards Wambach. And that's good goalkeeping by Kim Chung-mi. She realised when she was beaten there, Abby Wambach, that there's a South Korean defender down on the edge of the 6-yard area. Lim Son Chu. Fresh from 90 minutes on Saturday at Foxborough, and a concerned-looking Yoon Deok Yo peers into the distance with his stricken defender.
Well, that's something scary, is when you see a player lying down for an extended period of time, rubbing their head. With a collision with your goalkeeper as a defender, you are basically helpless. Your goalkeeper has almost the right of way. You can think about it that way, and you will get pummeled, but you have to use your body to try to prevent that forward from getting the ball. And sometimes you're the one who ends up taking the brunt of those impacts.
Lim Son Chu is back on her feet, and there's another substitution being made here by Tom Samani. Megan Klingenberg leaves the action, and Kelly O'Hara comes onto the field. She's been struggling recently with an ankle injury. Played every minute of the Olympic Games, all 570 of them last year. Another player from Sky Blue FC in the NWSL.
Which she plays forward on, by the way. She plays left back for the United States, and sometimes for Sky Blue, she's their front runner with Lisa Devanna. She's so good.
The Australian.
Yeah, the Australian that had a bicycle kick in the women's games. Great YouTube video. But she's so good at going forward. What I like about her is she's comfortable dribbling, but she always cuts it to her right foot, which opens up the goal. But she's so dynamic going forward, and she wins every single yo-yo test, speed test. Just incredible endurance, what you need as a left back.
Well, she's certainly versatile, Kate, because she started out with the national team as a left-sided midfielder, didn't she, before being converted to a fullback?
Yeah, she can basically play anywhere, definitely more on the width, because she can run for so long, a little bit smaller in stature, but she plays big. She's a very, very aggressive player, someone I used to get in lots of arguments with on the field when I used to play. She's so tenacious.
Here's Heather O'Reilly running at the back line. The cross comes in, it's off the back of Ji So-yun, and it's a corner kick. And that's number 8 of the game for the United States. We haven't found the back of the net yet in this second period. All 4 goals, if you're just joining us, by Abby Wambach, right in the center of your screen in the first 45 minutes. The record breaker. Here's Rapinoe. Towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a good header clear by Cho So-hyun, who then chases her own clearance. Sauerbrunn will get there first. Carly Lloyd, a little isolated on the left-hand side for the United States. Quick throw-in taken to Abby Wambach. A good challenge by Lim Son Chu. Seems to have recovered from that clattering she received a few moments ago. And they're on the verge of double figures in the corner tally in the United States. Kim Chung-mi directing traffic in her own penalty area here. Heather O'Reilly's the short option here. Nicely worked with Megan Rapinoe. Little drive comes in towards the near post. And it surprised Kim Chung-mi, but she kept the ball out. Most importantly, good dynamism, good ideas from the United States and from Megan Rapinoe.
Well, Megan Rapinoe is such a creative force. She just sees things differently and has the courage to take them. She tries for the near post shot. It's got a low probability of actually going in, but she keeps it low and makes the goalkeeper make a save by keeping it on frame.
Well, we asked her yesterday, Kate, didn't we? Will she go back to Lyon, the French Giants, at the end of the current NWSL season? She's just signed, as I mentioned in the first half, with the Seattle Reign. And she said, they have asked me back. Now, the NWSL season, the end of it will overlap with the start of the European season. She played 6 of the 9 or 10 months in Europe for Lyon, including that Champions League final. And I think she thoroughly enjoyed the experience. So don't rule out a return to Lyon in the future for Megan Rapinoe, who's closing down Kim Hae-ri.
Well, I absolutely would not be surprised if she returns. She's getting to play with some of the most technical players in the world that like to keep possession, the type of soccer she likes to play. And it just makes her an even better player, learning from them.
Here's Sydney Leroux into the attack. Pulls it back. Janey first time, and it's just over the head of Abby Wambach. Almost number 5.
Well, Sydney Leroux with a run to isolate her center back, is able to stay on her feet throughout the challenge, looks up and finds the slot runner. A delayed run by Lauren Cheney, she's holding back, trying to see how the play is going to develop, and then does a quick little burst into it. Unfortunately, just gets her hip a little bit too open, so goes wide of the goal frame.
Change for South Korea. Lee Min-ah comes on to the field, 21 years old. She played 19 minutes on Saturday at Foxborough. Another Hyundai Steel player in the Women's Korean League. Lovely curl on that ball with the outside of the right foot from Carly Lloyd. Throwing USA, here's Heather O'Reilly. She'll leave it for Kelly O'Hara. Thumped clear by Kim Chung-mi. From Engen towards Wambach. Hearing the time is running out for Abby Wambach if she wants to get a 5th tonight. She may leave the field momentarily. He's substituted for Kristen Press, who's one of the rising stars of US women's soccer. And is this the moment? It appears so. A record-breaking night for Abby Wambach. 4 goals in the first half. She's on 160. She's taken Mia Hamm's record tonight. A remarkable career and a remarkable achievement tonight. A true champion. Abby Wambach leaves the field. I would imagine somewhat relieved at getting the job done. Away for the family. There you go. So Kristen Press is down the middle in attack for the US. And here comes South Korea. Trying to get a foothold into the game. Park Hee-young, the blonde-haired figure. Kim Hae-ri.
Becky Young has taken a vicious blow that time, down on the sideline. Slow to her feet. So a night when the fans here can say they were here, Red Bull Arena, in June of 2013, on the night that Abby Wambach broke the record. This was early on. Lovely turn back to goal. And you got a sense that it was on at that point. Then the record equaled 158 with a trademark header. And that was the record breaker off the meat of the forehead for Abby Wambach. And she added another one just for good luck to get to 160. Here it was from Alex Morgan's low cross. Mum and Dad very proud, very emotional. It's offside against Sydney Leroux down there. And there's Abby Wambach who can take a breather and I suppose get on with the next phase now, Kate. I mean, she really was saying to us yesterday, I really don't like this record. I want to get it done, get it out of the way as soon as possible. And now she can. She's got 2 years to look after herself, to stay fit and get ready for that World Cup in 2015. I wonder, Kate, I'll put you on the spot. Will she be a role player by then, do you think? Or do you think she'll still be in the starting 11? Impossible to answer, but what are your thoughts?
Well, I think if there's anyone on this team that could will themselves to it, whether they physically declined a little bit, it would be Abby Wambach. But you have to remember what makes her special is her ability in the air. That doesn't decrease with age. And people do not give her credit for how good of a on the ball she is. Now, I think Abby has done a wonderful job scoring all these goals because you can give her just garbage balls and she cleans them up and makes something of it. But look at a lot of the balls that she receives that she has to deal with her back to pressure. They're very difficult to then turn and create and set play. If they can improve their service to her, you will expand the time that she can be on the field.
Into the attack, they made another substitution. Kwon Ha-Nu has come into the game for Park Hee-young. The flag up on the near side. An apparent offside against South Korea. Lee Min-ha just strayed. All smiles on the US bench. And Alex Morgan and Abby Wambach scored 55 goals between them last year. And they've now got 14 between them in 2013. Sydney Leroux, very direct approach, as usual. She wants to get in on the action tonight. Ji So-yun. Lee Min-ha available in the centre circle. Here she is. Becky Sauerbrunn is the defender. Ji So-yun sprays it skillfully to Kwon Ha-Nu. Here comes the crossfield ball. Engen got a toe to it. It's Cho So-hyun. And again. Young Young-ah into the penalty area. Dunn is the defender. While he goes to Chon Eun-ah. With skill from her into the near post. Engen with the defending. Poise from Carly Lloyd, and here come the United States again. Kristen Press making a darting run down the centre of the field. I don't think Megan Rapinoe felt she could get rid of the ball in time to keep her onside, but here's Rapinoe again.
The South Korean coach is getting much more verbal, yelling, and he's telling his players, and his hands are clasping when they didn't hit an early service. He's looking for them to play a little bit quicker. Every time they take an extra touch, he slaps his hands, and yes, I'm reading into it by his thing, but that's kind of the universal language when you're disappointed in something.
Cho So-hyun again, 24 years old. She scored South Korea's goal on Saturday, the third of her international career. One of the main players, the number 8 for South Korea going forward. They attempt to reach their second World Cup. She'll be 25 years old on Monday. Press. Rapinoe. Cheney. Press has 6 goals in 8 appearances so far this season, the young striker. She's been playing for TSO in Sweden as well. The pace from Dunn. Very good defending in the end by Lim Sun-chu. press. O'Hara. Now Rapinoe. On that favoured right foot. It's opening up for Megan Rapinoe. O'Hara's filled the space vacated by the midfielder. Here comes the cross into the penalty area. And it's number 5. And Lauren Cheney has 2 in 2.
The patience of the United States to find their moment, and that started with Megan Rapinoe. She could have shot the ball when she was dragging it, spins out right here and finds out why. That's such a great awareness. Kelly O'Hara serving it in. Lauren Cheney did a good job of getting in front of her player, timing it perfectly. But what you don't see is the United States holding their run and then recycling their runs, waiting for the perfect moment. That's an awareness that the United States is starting to show more and more often. Everyone critiques this team for not being technical, not having an awareness. It's not that. It's just that no one demanded it of them consistently. And if they do that, they'll get playing time. And that's what Coach Tom Sermanni has brought.
And that's going to be a challenge for him going forward, isn't it? To impart that on his team as the United States look to back up the energy they always play with. The heart, the desire, the insatiable appetite for success, for goals and for wins and for titles. But as the game gets more technical around the world, the United States are going to have to respond. They are so much more strong, athletic than virtually every team in the world. But it's about, I think, Kate, future-proofing this team as Megan Rapinoe sends a curling shot over the bar. Things might be different in 5 or 10 years. At this level of soccer, with the game improving, the United States can't afford to stand still and just rely on this. I know that Tom said to us yesterday he doesn't want to lose the asset that the American team has always had, this desire that they've had. But sophistication, I think, now is the order of the day, and that's a slow process, isn't it? But it starts now.
It is a process, but it's something that he has enough time to build. And he's also being benefited from having a youth system that is trying to identify technical players that have high soccer intelligence and getting them playing time and giving them opportunities. Morgan Bryan, for example, is someone that has come into this camp and has impressed him as an attacking center mid. What an incredible feel for the game. But it's going to take time, but they need it because it's going to be more and more difficult to beat teams that are, because they're better organized, they have better shapes, and they're finally getting money from their federations and investing in their teams.
Just to re-emphasize, the United States team has those players in the side. They are available. They are such fun to watch. They really are. We're talking, I think, Kate, aren't we, when you get to World Cup quarter-finals and onwards, perhaps. Look at that searching ball. She's in here, press, on the left foot. Takes her time about it. Press over the bar. What a wonderful ball. It must have been all of 50 yards from Megan Rapinoe.
Well, Megan Rapinoe gives the best service out of any player on the United States, realizes that Kristen Press is isolated in a 1v1 and has the technical ability to deliver that service. Press just takes too many touches on the ball, trying to get it to her right foot, and hits the ball a bit off balance, leaning back a tad, getting underneath it, and the opportunity is passed.
Plaudits to the defender Shin So-Yun, who got back there, the number 4. She scored twice against the Netherlands, Kristen Press, in April in a 3-1 win in The Hague. And here's an opportunity, perhaps. The shot comes in. Jill Loyden was backtracking. In the end, it was over the crossbar. Press is the all-time leading goal scorer at Stanford University. She found the net 71 times. She's rated highly enough by Tom Sermanni to have started the Algarve Cup final against Germany in March over in Portugal. A 2-0 victory for the United States for their 9th Algarve Cup. Ji-Sun-Young. Sarabon with the sliding challenge. Rapinoe gets there ahead of Kim Hae-ri. Still Rapinoe. Here's LaRue.
someone like a Kristen Press, they're just trying to figure out where is she most effective. They tried her out on the wing. That's not something she's used to playing. She's an all-and-out striker on her club teams. But the more she can increase her versatility, the likelihood she'll get increased minutes for the United States Women's National Team. But this is where she wants to be. She wants to be up top, dribbling at players. That's her strength. Quick, fast, and a great technical touch.
I don't think the Korean bench to your right-hand side there, Kate, are particularly impressed with that sliding challenge by Becky Sauerbrunn.
No, the entire coaching staff has now stood up and checking on their player to see if she's okay.
Kwon Ha-nu hobbling away from that challenge. No foul given. Red Bull Arena turning into a very happy hunting ground for the US women's side. One previous game played here in 2011 against Mexico. That was a warm-up for the World Cup. They outshot the Mexicans 34-4 on the night, but only won by a goal to nil. Tonight it's 5-0. Abby Wambach with 4 of those goals. And if you're just joining us, those goals took her past Mia Hamm onto 160 for her career, and she holds the world record. There she is. Mia Hamm's mark of 158. Lauren Cheney with a goal to her name tonight. Warmly greeted by Tom Sermanni. Yael Averbuch comes onto the side, onto the field, excuse me, from Upper Montclair in New Jersey. Another one back recently from European soccer. She plays for Göteborg in Sweden. Here's Press. Reverses it to Carly Lloyd. Lloyd with more of an attacking role now in the centre of the field. Averbuch on the edge, can't get to that one.
What I love there is Christie Rampone is not on the field, so you're going to need a verbal communicator. And you look up and you see number 14, Engen, with less than 10 caps, directing Sauerbrunn and also telling Kelly O'Hara, hey, look, there's someone wide left of you, which prompted Kelly O'Hara to turn around and chase. That young leadership comes from games. That came from the WPS, and now she's playing over in England. But that's what the benefit of league does. It gives these players chances to build their leadership skills, to become the prominent team members, and that transfers to the international game.
Okay, when these players are making decisions whether to play domestically in the NWSL or go abroad like Press, like Engen, what comes into the decision-making process? Is it financial, or is it just a desire to taste life overseas?
Well, I doubt it's financial with some of the players going over to Sweden. That's not normally a club that, a country that plays so well, being that I played there with Christine Lilly.
Cross comes in towards LaRue.
But it's an individual thing. Can they grow? In the case of Megan Klingenberg and Kristen Press, they're playing for Tony Gustafsson. We're also on a team with Marta, Boquette, all these incredible players. She's going to get better from that. And the same thing with Megan Klingenberg.
Sorry, Ken, here's Sydney LaRue trying to make something happen in the penalty area. Took a deflection, but a goal kick is given. There's Kristen Press. Future star for the US women's national team, potentially 24 years old. The 33-match unbeaten run about to be stretched to 34. Their last defeat, March the 5th, 2012. That was 1-0 to Japan in the Algarve Cup. It's the third longest unbeaten streak in national team history. A ways to go to beat the record, though. 51 matches between 2004 and 2007. They've lost only one of the last 80 friendlies. That was to England in April of 2011. And it's a 71-match unbeaten run at home for the USA. Denmark, the last side to win on US soil in Philadelphia, 3-1 in November of 2004. Abby Wambach scored in that game, one of only 2 defeats once he actually managed to score a goal. There have been 101 victories, or there will be at the final whistle here tonight.
All those victories are impressive, Arlo, but a lot of those victories, they didn't dominate the performance. They didn't dominate possession. They didn't put a stamp on the game. That's something Tom Sermanni is trying to change.
LaRue to Carly Lloyd. That'll be a corner kick. And they're into double figures for corner kicks tonight, the US. Number 10.
Look for Whitney Engen to try to get to the ball. Number 14, or Yael for the long distance.
Averbuch with the volley. She gets another opportunity, and it's a good save in the end. Yael Averbuch, the substitute. Kim Chung-mi, the goalkeeper. Again, wonderful invention from Megan Rapinoe from the corner kick.
Well, she has the players to do it. Yael Averbuch is so good on those one-time strikes. And also, if there's any set piece, watch for her. Technique and power is world-class, anywhere from 35 yards out.
You saw the shots there on your screen a few moments ago. 18-2. 5 converted into goals for the United States tonight. As we approach the final 15 minutes of a hugely enjoyable night at Red Bull Arena here in Harrison, New Jersey. An historic evening for Abby Wambach. Foul against Press. And as we mentioned in the first half, Kate, Christine Sinclair is still playing and still going strong for Canada on 145 goals. So that could go on for a while, couldn't it, between those two?
It definitely could, because Sinclair is such a quality forward that doesn't really need to outrun players. She just sits and she picks her moments. She's a smart player. They're going to have lots of games to lead up before the World Cup to increase the development of the Canadian team. It's not going to stop till they both retire.
I was at Old Trafford. I count myself very fortunate to be at that semi-final, that epic encounter, the 4-3 victory for the US over Canada, where Christine Sinclair scored a quite superb hat-trick and ended up on the losing side. Fortunately for the Canadians, they did scoop the bronze medal in the end, victory over France in the 3rd and 4th place playoff, which many people, observers, I think we're glad about after their performance in the semi-final against the United States. Another substitution being made here by South Korea. Kim Sang-eun comes in to the game. Chon Eun-ah makes way. Here's Becky Sauerbrunn then for the United States. Kelly O'Hara. Megan Rapinoe. Head straight up. As they're threading through towards Carly Lloyd, who's enjoying the freedom, I think, now of that attacking central midfield role with the Yael Averbuch behind her. From So Yun. Lee Mi-na. Kim Na-rae. They've been chased, harried and harassed all evening, the South Koreans, unable to get any foothold into the game whatsoever. Cho So-hyun. This perhaps was their best period of possession, but they've given it away. Rapinoe on the right foot. Megan Rapinoe fancies the drive here, but slots it to the right-hand side in the penalty area. Here's an opportunity, and it's wide.
Well, if I'm South Korea, I would try to keep the ball in the play away from Megan Rapinoe's side, because if she's not on the ball when she wins it, she will dismantle you. She dribbles it at the defender, makes her commit, slots it. Kristen Press decides to take a touch, cut it back across her defender, open up the goal, and doesn't get enough spin and texture on the ball to spin it into the upper corner. But right now, if I'm South Korea, they're trying to gain experience and confidence. First of all, keep the ball away from this side. The United States has not attacked that much on the Crystal Dunn, Heather O'Reilly side. Megan Rapinoe has been so dangerous. Keep the ball away from this. She's setting all the play for the United States.
I'm a little surprised that she's still on the field, actually. Kate, Megan Rapinoe, she's been given a good run here by Tom Sermanni, isn't she? And she's on the ball again. Doesn't look tired at all, though. Towards the edge of the area, and Sydney Leroux, who slides, gets a challenge in, and it is a corner kick, when perhaps that was a foul by Sydney Leroux on Kim Hae-ri.
Well, Arlo, she was gone, you have to remember. She was gone this whole entire time. She hasn't played for the United States since February. It's time to see her. And look how much she has grown as a player on both sides of the ball. It's a different player to me.
Absolutely. She only played 45 minutes against Wolfsburg in that Champions League final. Not happy at coming off. Why would she be? They lost 1-0. Here comes the corner kick. Punch clear, only as far as Carly Lloyd. She'll keep the ball in play. Dunn in support. Lloyd's going to have a little run, step over, cut towards the byline. Well marshalled though by the South Korean defense. Kwon Hanu. Here's Averbush. Showing on the edge of the penalty areas, Kristen Press. She's on her right foot, switches it to her left. Surrounded by red shirts, so she threads it to Rapinoe. Rapinoe with a slip at the crucial time, unfortunately for her. It's an excellent run by Press, wasn't it, Kate, to the edge of the penalty area to offer support in that attack. Great awareness is O'Hara. Deep cross, testing one for Kim Chung-mi. And the referee's whistle has gone. It was a challenge by Sydney Leroux. And that's left Kim Chung-mi down in her own 6-yard area.
If there is anyone on this team that has the will to go into a goalkeeper like that, besides Abby Wambach, it would be Sydney Leroux. She is so good in the air. She times things well. More than that, she puts her body on the line. And here she runs into the Korean goalkeeper, Kim Jung-mi.
Approaching the final 10 minutes here. And the athletic trainer is on for the South Korean goalkeeper. Sydney Leroux, 14 international goals in 2012, including that one I mentioned against New Zealand at St James's Park in Newcastle, in the northeast of England, in the Olympic quarter-final. 5 goals and an assist in 7 games for the Boston Breakers in NWSL play this year. Delighted to get her first gold medal, Olympic gold medal that is, last year from Los Angeles. Yoon Deok-yo peering into the distance at his goalkeeper. He actually played 2 matches at the 1990 World Cup in Italy for South Korea. One was a 3-1 defeat to Spain, the other he was sent off in a 1-0 defeat to Uruguay in Udine. 31 caps for his national side. Kim Chung-mi flexing that left leg.
You mentioned it before, but the South Koreans at a youth level are becoming a powerful, dominant force, because it all started back in 2002 when the Men's World Cup, they shared it with Japan. That piqued interest, and now money has started to invest in the women's game. That's why these players are younger, but are coming forward. But you get to see the ball in from O'Hara, testing the goalkeeper, Sydney Leroux. They both go up for it. They call it a foul on Leroux because she came in more with her body. But that, to me, is a fair challenge.
I think a knee went into the left thigh there, judging by that picture.
Just a love tap, Arlo, just a love tap.
And there's no limp now, is there, fortunately for Kim Chung-mi. The Wambach penalty the other day, by the way, at Foxborough was her 100th goal conceded in international soccer. This is her 64th cap, which is about to get us back underway. Leroux. Forward from O'Reilly. Ji-So Yun on the breakaway for South Korea. Pistol Dunn backtracking. Her recovery speed excellent. The flag is up on the near side. A matter of inches there for Yu Young-ah.
Yu Young-ah is doing a better job of timing her run. She's still offsides, but that back line, the United States, is not synchronized. They're a little bit staggered, which isn't surprising because they lack continuity. These 3 have not played together.
Well, at the start of the game, Kate, the back 4 had 298 caps between them, and Christy Rampone had 282 of them. It's remarkable, isn't it?
Credit to Tom Sermanni. He's giving everyone a chance. And yes, it's uncomfortable if you're a consistent starter in the past for the United States. But you have to remember, Pia Sundhage didn't change her starting 11 for 4 years.
Super ball which springs Sydney Leroux, and she arrows towards goal on the right foot, pulls it back towards Press. Carly Lloyd was there in support as well. Good defending, alert defending by Lim Son-Chu.
South Korea is going to be better for this experience. Their defenders, because they have just been pummeled for this entire game, will be better players and will be less intimidated the next time they face an opponent like the United States. But I love how they're not giving up, how they're still trying to play their game, and they're still going into tackles. And this is a young squad that's showing resilience, and this will pay dividends in the long run.
Ava Bush slides in and wins the challenge. Leaves Cho So-hyun on the field. His press. Rapinoe. What trick she got up her sleeve here? An excellent drive. And in the end, that was super goalkeeping by Kim Chung-mi. You'd have been right behind that from the position between the benches, Kate. Was that fizzing, moving, knuckling around?
Typical Megan Rapinoe shot. She has an ability to put a bend on the ball, and it was knuckling. The goalkeeper, Kim Jung-mi, did a good job of pushing it and blocking away. That was not a catchable ball. But this is something scary for South Korea. This is their best player. She plays only one on this team that plays outside the country, and they do not want to see her down. And she's just an incredible story. She was playing with the boys until 2nd grade. Her mom is on welfare, single mom, has cancer, and she played through it. And now her mom is better. She brings money back to the family, and this is their best player.
Yeah, it's Ji So-hyun who's down on the ground. Leading scorer in the squad with 24 goals. Only 22 years of age. She plays for Kobe in Japan. Let's take a look at this then, and also a listen to this. Yep, it hurts.
It's always good to see a player walk off that field, but that scream, that's unsettling to anybody, especially the South Korean bench, with the entire coaching staff standing up now, trying to reorganize their team now that she's taken a step off until they can put a sub in if they decide to sub her.
Well, there is going to be a substitution. Shin Chi-young, number 19, 21 years old, from Seoul City. He's on the field, and Ji So-hyun will stay off the field, hobbling towards the bench.
Ji So-hyun can't believe it. She thought she was going back in, a moment of confusion, and now heading down to the trainer.
And there's another South Korean player down now. This is Kim Hae-ri.
This is not uncommon to see against the United States. No one is physically as fit as the United States is for 90 minutes. Some of it's depth, some of it's the style that they play, but it's also because they have so much supporting them. Dawn Scott, their fitness trainer, so good at keeping them fit and strong, and that has been a difference maker over the past couple years.
And Kate, is relentless, isn't it? Because when the starting 11 start to leave the field, the likes of Sydney Leroux, here she is, comes on. Just impress as well, just to maintain the pace at which the game is being played. We saw some of the South Koreans on Saturday. Fox was struggling with cramp in the late stages of the game. Here's Leroux. Ava Bush. Leroux, space for a shot. Right foot in, good save. Kim Chung-mi down to her right-hand side. Still there for Heather O'Reilly. Ava Bush in the area. She'll try and curl one. It's deflected into the air. Ava Bush wins the header. Still bouncing around. Not cleared by South Korea. Leroux wins it back. Done on the right-hand side. Plenty of white shirts to aim for. Here it comes towards press, and the header's over the bar.
The circulation of the ball by the United States is impressive. Yael Averbuch tries to take a shot, blocks, but all of a sudden is on the left-hand side. And now it's over on the right. This is something Tom Sermanni wants. Circulate the ball and wait for that killer pass and that moment. The technique will come. Accuracy will improve the more they get used to all these different types of opportunities.
Sauber with the challenge. Here's Carly Lloyd. Cheeky back heel to press. Back out again to Lloyd. Opportunity here. Here comes the drive, and it's across the face of goal. Missing the target and also missing Sydney Leroux.
Well, Carly Lloyd starts us with a nifty back heel, unpredictable, and Kristen Press scoops up a little bit over the defender's foot, and Carly Lloyd has a look at it.
So close.
So close.
Well, I put 4 away. I did my job tonight. Abby Wambach breaking the record. It was a remarkable first 45 minutes. She'll join us on the set, I'm delighted to say, after the game. Abby Wambach, she was with us before the game. There's confirmation. That's the current top 5 for the United States. Mia Hamm, 158 from 275 games, and Abby Wambach has got there in her 207th appearance. It's done. Heather O'Reilly straight towards goal. Lovely skill. Heather O'Reilly drives it in, another good save. And another shot, and another save, this time from Ava Bush. Kim Chung-mi, fair play to her. In the last minute, she's made 4 terrific saves in the last 5 minutes.
The ball goes wide to Heather O'Reilly. She's coming in. She's really known for just pushing it past people run. She changes it up here. Kim Chung-mi blocks it and forces back into pressure. Does an excellent job of holding on to a difficult, powerful strike from Yael Averbuch.
She's been down injured as well in the second half. She's been in the wars. Had plenty of crosses and shots to deal with, but she's steadfast to the last here. Kim Chung-mi will have 3 minutes of time added on at the end of an historic night at Red Bull Arena. The night that Abby Wambach broke Mia Hamm's long-standing goal-scoring record. Goals in the 10th minute, the 19th minute, the hat-trick, and the 159th record-breaking goal in the 29th minute, and then one more for luck in the 45th, just before half-time. After great work from Alex Morgan. 4 goals in the first half. It was 4-0 at the half. The goal has since been added by Lauren Cheney in the 64. 5-0 your score. Here's Dunn. They are relentless, and they will attempt to score goals until that whistle blows. The United States against a clearly exhausted South Korea. Ava Bush flips it in towards Rapinoe, who couldn't get a toe on the ball. I think Shim So-yeon feels she heard a call from Kim Chung-mi. Let the ball go. Rapinoe just short of getting involved. Sauerbrunn under this one. Oh, Ava Bush, you've seen plenty of the ball. And looked pretty poised when she's had it as well. Wide it goes again to O'Reilly, and once again she starts the motor. Towards the edge of the penalty area. Still Heather O'Reilly. Ava Bush again gets underneath this one. There's some white shirts queuing at the far post as well. And there's Abby Wambach en route to talk to Russ Thaler and to Kate Margraf in our post-game show, getting a wonderful reception. Kate, we talked about it over the last 24 hours. We sensed something special could happen tonight, but it's a lot to ask to score a hat-trick. You've been around the women's game in this country for a long time. What were you thinking in the first half when the goals were flying in?
I think you can tell a lot how the United States is going to play by Abby Wambach's face, when she's got that steely look to her. Abby Wambach was on fire tonight. Finished all her chances, but what was more impressive is how the United States came out. This is the first time this year that I've seen them come out collectively, every single one of them, with a little bit more motivation to them. Maybe they wanted to get Abby the record, what have you, but that was a big reason why Abby got the service that she did. Their expanded shape attacking opened up some gaps that she is so good at finding and capitalizing on.
And it must be said, Kate, you deserve a handshake from Abby afterwards. You provided 2 of the assists for the goals.
Remember when I said some of the service was garbage and she just cleaned it up and made it look good?
Oh, don't do yourself down. One of them was in the Olympic Games, wasn't it?
It was garbage, Arlo, pure garbage. But she made me look good.
Well, you did say the target area is slightly larger when Abby Wambach is lurking at the back post.
Absolutely, because she will put her body on the line in a way no one else will can. She does not care about her career, she just cares about that moment.
Well, it was her night. That's the full-time whistle. Remarkable entertainment in the first 45 minutes, particularly here in New Jersey. An historic night for US women's soccer. Abby Wambach with goals number 157, 158, 159 and 160. She's the new record holder, and we will speak to her after this break. Final score, United States 5, South Korea 0.
Welcome back. And let the record show, in the 29th minute, Abby Wambach scored her third goal of the game against South Korea. Her 159th international tally, making her the most prolific international goal scorer in women's soccer history. As USA defeats South Korea 5-0 here at Red Bull Arena. And Abby Wambach joins us on set. Russ Taylor, Kate Margraf, and Abby Wambach. Abby, congratulations. I know it's a night you're never going to forget, but what was it like to actually experience breaking the record and scoring 4 goals here in front of all these fans?
You know, it's surreal to begin with. Like, the whole first half was crazy. I mean, from the first minute, I missed the breakaway, so it could have even been worse, I guess. But you know, I'm so thankful, and I've said it all along. My teammates were trying to get me those goals, and it was clear. So at halftime, I was like, all right, it's over with. Let's get back to playing. You know, be selfish, take shots yourself. Can't thank them enough. Cheney, Megan, you know, Alex, the fourth goal assist, amazing.
I got to ask you a question. I know you have so many goals, but how much of is this a relief for you? That it's been 6 months, everyone's talking about it, Nike, US Soccer. Is it nice to have the distraction finally done with?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as a competitor, you want to be done with things that, especially for me, that put me at the forefront of conversations. This team is too good to be talking about just one person, so I'm glad it's over with.
Abby, your family was here tonight. What does it mean to you to have mom and dad and the rest of your family in here watching this history unfold?
I mean, there's nothing better. I usually play much better when my parents are in the stands. My friends and family, you know, actually Dan Borzo is the one that flew them all in here. So I'm very thankful that they're here.
They're
Mom, are you hearing?
Yeah.
Hey, Mom, I'm right here. Wave.
I'm kind of disappointed they didn't give her a mic. I'd love to hear what Judy has to say.
So Abby, now that you can move past this, what's the next goal for you? You know, you set goals, I'm sure, individually and as a team. What's your next personal goal?
Well, it's never been my goal to break any world record, especially one that my idol Mia Hamm had set. You know, a personal goal would be to assist on many more Alex Morgan goals so that she one day could break my record. And of course, 2015 World Cup title. I would love nothing more than to bring that home for us.
Now, as a player, we always talk about what you want to work on. I always say you can set play. It's just the quality of service, the balls that come to you that don't come to your neck. Where in the field would you like to improve upon?
Yeah, absolutely. In between the 18, you're right. I do need to work on my first touch so that we can keep possession in our attacking third. You know, when balls are forced on my head, sometimes we don't keep as much possession as we'd like to because it's just a flick on and a chance run in behind. So, you know, balls into feet, receiving the ball and playing it back into our midfield. If our midfield is involved and they're controlling the play and the tempo of the game, you know, we usually have a great game.
Abby, how would you assess your team's performance tonight?
I mean, they were all about trying to get me goals today, so I want to thank them. But I think that they played great. We made a lot of things happen, attacked in many different ways. And I think that's the kind of soccer Tom wants us to play. He wants us to keep learning how to play the game rather than focusing so much of our attention on just tackles and playing hard. He wants us to play good soccer and beautiful soccer.
Well, a lot of the attention is on Abby Wambach tonight, and for good reason. Abby, congratulations. 4 goal now, the all-time most prolific goal scorer in international history. All 4 coming in the first half as USA defeats South Korea 5-0 at Red Bull Arena, and we'll be back to wrap things up from Harrison, New Jersey, right after this on the NBC Sports Network. Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, Major League Soccer continues on the NBC Sports Network from Portland when the Timbers welcome in the Colorado Rapids. It's Timbers Rapids Sunday at 7 Eastern right here on the NBC Sports Network. Abby Wambach with a hug for mom after 4 goals in a 5-0 win for USA over South Korea. For Arlo White and Kate Markgraf, I'm Russ Taylor. Abby Wambach not only had 4 goals, she is now the all-time scoring leader. Lauren Cheney added the cherry. USA wins it 5-0 over South Korea. Thanks so much for watching.
NBC Sports Network thanks you for watching this presentation of U.S. Soccer.